welcome to episode 4, season 2 of the Curios cast. This is a remote special, and as you can tell, I'm here with Rob and Tom as normal. Hello, boys.
Sup?
Good evening.
Yeah, welcome back. Apologies, it might sound a little bit different due to lockdown 2.0. We're having to record from our houses, so if there's any technical difficulties, apologies, and if the audio is a little bit weird, we'll try and make it sound as good as possible, but just deal with it. Just get over yourself. It's fine.
Yeah, there's worse things happening in the world, apparently.
Yeah, I haven't been out, so I don't know what's happened. Apparently America's kicking off again or something.
Yeah, oh fucking. But yeah,
America's going crazy at the minute, isn't it?
it is.
I saw this brilliant video. It was a guy. It was like.
Before you start, don't break the Curios cast rule of no politics.
No, this is not really politics. This is just quite funny. It's a guy because it was all kicking off like writing and stuff happening, and he's sitting there. What's he playing? Eternal Flame. He's just like busking.
I saw that.
With like a piano, and he's just like and he's just playing the melody of it. He's not even singing. And while he's doing that calmly, there's literally riot vans screeching behind him. People run over throwing bottles, and he's just like. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, it's a really good video.
Yeah,
there was a similar one of when there was like protests in, I think it was like Chile or something, and some guy was playing a saxophone in the middle of this protest, and people were throwing bricks and swinging flags around, letting flares go off, and this guy's got someone's got a microphone and a big speaker, and this guy's just jamming with a saxophone. It's brilliant.
Just don't stop.
Yeah.
Let the music play on.
So if there's ever a riot here, Rob, then we'll call you up. We'll get you out there. You'll be like
just keep fucking playing, yeah.
You'll be like the people's champion.
Yeah, the bard leading into battle.
And I'll get a nice viral video out of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Make sure you've got a Curios cast merch on or something. We need merch, but or we'll put a watermark on it anyway, and
We just buy a load of cheap white t-shirts and just write Curios cast on the front. That'd be fine.
That's probably about what it deserves, isn't it? Just a sharpied Curios cast.
It'd be great. I'd wear one of those, or a baseball cap.
All right, let's get into it.
So before we do, actually, apologies if this episode's slightly late. We did record another episode, but we had some technical difficulties, so we've lost that audio. So so apologies. This is a little bit late.
It's right. It was shit anyway.
It was really good. I even had a beer on that one.
Yeah, it was a shame that I'm not having a beer this time because I had to run off to the toilet halfway because my bladder was going to explode. So
I was going to have a beer. I was tempted to have a beer, but then I realised I don't have any beer, and I still can't leave the house. And a few more days.
Well, next time, maybe for the Christmas special, who knows? We'll have a little beverage.
Yeah.
This is episode 4. If you haven't listened to it already, last episode was our spooky special, which definitely recommend giving a listen. Apart from that, have you got anything else you want to bring up, Tom or Rob, before we jump in?
No.
Any other business?
No, we're going to go straight into weird news.
We're going to go straight in, unlubed. There we go.
Into weird news. I think Rob's excited. Do you want to go first?
I can do, I suppose. Yeah. Let's.
You've got the energy.
I've got the energy. Yeah. While this energy's still up, that's a good point. All right. I cleared this with George quickly before we came online because I just assumed he'd have it, but as he doesn't, I thought it'd be nice to bring up a bit of a classic Curios cast material.
Oh yeah.
And I've got a Bigfoot sighting.
Oh. George was just.
I love it.
He was just crying to me that he didn't have a Bigfoot story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was really upset.
I'll send you this, George. You might want to do a bit more digging at this because it's a pretty good one. So,
is it better than the Cornwall one? Because I don't think anything can be better than the Cornwall Bigfoot sighting.
I'm not sure I'm familiar. You have to remind me. You've had a lot of Bigfoot
The one that
sightings.
we spoke about in our last episode before last. The really shit one. Remember we found that weird cryptid map?
Oh yeah, he wasn't listening because he was looking at the map.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention.
Obviously really good, and a really good advert for season 2 episode 3 there.
So that
anyway,
was
carry on.
Bigfoot. What's that in where one of the guys goes, oh, it's like Knocked Up, or one of those films where someone's like, oh god, that smells like Bigfoot's dick.
Anchorman, wasn't it?
Is it Anchorman? It might be
I
Anchorman.
think
Yeah, I
so,
can hear
yeah.
him saying it. Yeah. Anyway,
Don't
Bigfoot's
tell
dick.
me.
Think about Bigfoot's dick while I'm talking through this. So, multiple Bigfoot sightings reported at Turkey Mountain, Oklahoma. For starters, it's interesting to know that there's a place called Turkey Mountain.
Yeah.
They have turkeys on it. I hope so.
Maybe at one point, or maybe they used to eat turkey on it.
Yeah.
There's like some Thanksgiving thing.
That's what the big feet eat. Is turkey.
That's what the big feet eat. Maybe that's
Big
why
feet.
there's big feet up there, because of the turkeys everywhere.
Yeah.
Big feet. I love the collective. That's the collective now. Big feet.
Oh yeah, the multiple for foot is feet. So there you go.
Yeah. So one. Yeah, makes
Big
sense.
feet.
Big feet.
Tourists to the Turkey Mountain urban wilderness area confirmed sightings of a mysterious creature. In the official Facebook page of the region, authorities indicated that they had received a lot of reports from travellers who had stated seeing a Bigfoot creature in the location. Or Bigfoot-like creature in the location, I should say. Over the weekend, we received dozens of calls and messages reporting a sighting at Turkey, the post reads. And there's various Facebook posts dropped in of like people have screenshotted. Jogging at, they've tagged the place, Turkey Mountain Urban Wilderness, this morning and saw this. What? And there's like, it's one of those things, the more you zoom in, it's shitty. But it's a bit wild. I mean, it looks kind of like a bear, but not a bear because it's on 2 feet. And someone's commented, did you get a closer look? Like, obviously not. I like this comment from them though. While we investigate the matter, this seems a good time for us to remind you that social distancing of 6 foot is required when at Turkey Mountain. So maybe that's why they couldn't get a good shot of Bigfoot this time, because
Can't
Yeah,
go
he
get
was
a
keeping his
selfie.
social distance. Yeah.
How big is a Bigfoot as well? You might need to give him twice as far a berth.
That's
Oh
right.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah,
Bigger
imagine
nostrils.
if for the first time we actually discovered Bigfoot and then they gave him coronavirus and fucking wiped them all out. Someone's commented, I saw it too, guess it lives there now, and they've put a similar photo up, to be honest.
These
of
photos will
some-
be on the video, I hope, right now, for people that are listening along. Maybe.
Maybe.
Tom's
Are you going
shaking
to be
his
doing
head
that?
at me.
Yeah, are you going to like drop them back in, or are you only like live editing and
It's
that?
all done live. So if you can get them to me now, then I can
shit.
put them in. But if not, then don't
All
worry.
right, okay.
You
Alright,
can probably
yeah, and,
imagine it's probably a picture of like
You can probably imagine
a
it's a
questionable,
shitty, yeah.
Yeah.
like blurry, or maybe if it's not blurry, it's really far away, or
Yeah.
the lighting's really bad, or it's like a silhouette of essentially just a tall figure.
Well,
that's my
you
guess.
have
I haven't seen
yeah.
the photo yet, but
You have quite accurately described.
So that to me sounds like proof. Irrefutable
That-
proof.
That's
yeah.
like irrefutable proof, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it is the most likely explanation.
I think so.
I'm going to drop it to you, Tom.
Sure.
Oh, it's going to
Anyway,
pop
there
up.
it is.
Oh, it's
Um,
there. Okay.
So, yeah, social anyway. Turkey Mountain is a hill occupying a wide area on the west side of Arkansas River in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The summit is 104 feet above the river, offering a good view of Tulsa. Thanks for that. Photos of the Bigfoot depict the light brown bipedal ape, partly concealed by bushes and trees. I like the way the next thing was pretty much your description that you gave, Tom. And yeah, have a look at them. I mean, there's...
It's on the screen now for anybody who is watching the video. It
it's
is
one of those
exactly
classic
what I
ones.
described.
Yeah, it's exactly what you described. I decided
I'm not impressed with that.
There's better ones than that one picture, though.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm just going to try.
Well, do the first one, Tom, with jogging at Turkey Mountain, the one they put up there. That's a better picture, I think.
Oh, that's the one I'm looking at. That one's the,
yeah,
that one's
yeah. Oh, yeah,
yeah.
cool. No, the one in the chat George
Oh.
can see is like the screenshot from the article.
Oh, right.
And
It
it's-
looks like a.
Yeah,
it looks like a lampstand.
It's still shit. It does look like
Right,
a
I'm looking at
lampstand.
the other one.
I mean,
Where's-
it could be that some dudes put on some sort of outfit and gone, because there are multiple sightings of it. So either all these people that are saying they've seen multiple sightings are the same people with just multiple accounts, or a bunch of mates who've said, let's have a laugh and pretend we've all seen it, or it's some dude dressed up as a fucking Bigfoot and is running around the woods up there because it's a pretty good prank.
I mean,
Yeah.
that other one's pretty weird.
It's a Bigfoot.
That
I was
yeah,
about
the one on the
to
path is
say.
quite weird.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. When you said you know, there's someone running around in a Bigfoot costume because it's quite funny. I was about to say, you know what, I'd probably do that if I had all the time in the world. I do have all the time in the world now. We're locked down, and I have nothing to do other than to go and, you know, walk around, socially distance from people. What better way to do it than to dress up as Bigfoot?
Exactly.
And just, you know,
and you're deliberately trying to keep your distance.
yeah. Because I don't want to be spotted.
That's literally part of the crack.
Yeah.
That picture reminds me of a video. I think it was in like Indonesia or somewhere, or I'm sure it was Indonesia. There was this like a bit like Bigfoot. There's a legend of these short humanoids that live on Indonesia. I think, Rob, we might have even spoken about that.
We spoke about that,
and we might have
in real
even
life
watched,
or on the cast. Yeah,
I think we might have even watched the video together. There's a video of these people sort of through like tall grass, looks like not reeds but like quite tall grass, and this little figure's like running across the path, like, and it's there, like it's legit there, and it looks a little bit like that, you know, the way that it's sort of off to one side. That's a weird video. I might try and dig that out for another episode.
Yeah, that's a good one, that one.
I mean, that would be Smallfoot. It wouldn't be Bigfoot because it was only about like 2 foot. That's a Smallfoot.
Isn't it amazing
Bigfoot.
how adapt like avoiding cameras Bigfoot is, or the species of the big feet. Like humans we've got photos of, you know, atoms, probably, I don't know, but
or like on some Attenborough documentary, like some really rare fucking, like, this is the first time we've captured something, you know, eating in the middle of the night, hunting a super rare snow leopard. They captured it hunting,
and like,
but we can't capture this fucker,
and
6 foot fucking ape walking around the woods,
and you know, rocks on planets that are like millions of miles away, and you know, high definition photos of other stars and galaxies and microbes and shit like that, and we can't get a photo of this, you know. What do you mean we can't get a photo? There's about 6 photos of it in this article, Tom. That doesn't count.
All I'd say to that point is that there's millions of dollars being spent on looking for rocks and other planets and other things, whereas Bigfoot, no one is spending millions of dollars looking for it.
About 50 quid on them,
Hillbilly Jim looking around his local nature reserve in
cryptids.co.uk or whatever it was.
Yeah, you know, that's all I'd say.
They're spending 30 quid a year on that server to upload those things to.
Right, I can't argue with you.
Irrefutable proof.
Yeah. Good point.
Do you know my favourite thing about this flask, by the way?
Is how loud it is.
Yeah. What does it say?
That's backwards,
Lawford.
but it says Lawford.
You've stolen Lawford's flask.
Yeah, correct.
Well, that's first. That marks Lawford's first appearance on the Curios card since episode 4 or something like that.
There you go. New to season 2.
Yeah.
That's about it from Bigfoot, really. I just saw it. I thought I've got to fucking talk about Bigfoot.
That's good. I like the picture.
It's an absolute classic. Anyway.
I'd found a little Bigfoot story, but it was too short. I got excited when I first saw it. I thought, brilliant, I'll be able to bring a Bigfoot story, but it was like only 2 lines, and it was about a somewhere in America, in like Louisiana or somewhere. There was a Bigfoot statue. They got stolen out of the outside of a library, and it disappeared. It was like a town icon, this little Bigfoot statue. And the article was just that it had been recovered, been anonymously dropped off at the police station with an apology note. So Bigfoot, or the statue of Bigfoot, has now been reinstated. But,
that's strange. Why have they got a statue of Bigfoot? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I guess maybe there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings, so they wanted to immortalise him. Obviously, they're not non-believers like Tom. You know, they're enlightened, they're wise people. You know, they know that big feet exist.
Big feet are about. I want to watch that video that you sent earlier, Tom. Is it worth a watch? Isn't it like 45 minutes long or something?
No, it was only like it was less than 10 minutes long, I think.
Oh, okay. That shows my attention span, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know George just mentioned all gas, no brakes on the show before, which is a sort of like little journalism YouTube channel. This guy essentially just he goes to like weird conventions and finds weird groups of people who are really into certain things, and the other day he done a Bigfoot one. So it was in I can't remember what state it was, like Dakota or something, and he just like sort of tagged on with this little group of Bigfoot hunters and went looking around the forest in the middle of the night, and all of them spotted Bigfoot apart from the journalist and the cameraman. Where they were like, "Oh, he's here! Come, guys, he's here!" And then by the time they're like, "Where?" They're like, "Oh, he's gone. You missed him." And he's like, and he's got like a really sarcastic delivery. This guy, so he's like, is it? Do you think it's a coincidence, or do you think that you guys saw him and we didn't, or do you think Bigfoot maybe he just doesn't like locals or something like that?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, that might be it." But
he doesn't like non-locals, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Tourists,
but,
bloody tourists.
Yeah, it was a good little 10 minutes.
Bigfoot's a racist. Anyway, enough of Bigfoot. On to another Curios class classic. Right, yeah. Enough of Bigfoot, onto another Curios class classic is what I just said there. That's a sentence. Curios class classic. Penises.
Yes.
Well, penis-like things this actually is. Thousands of penis fish are washed onto a California beach after storm pulled them from their underwater burrows.
Penis fish?
Oh.
Penis fish, yeah.
Oh no.
If you Google that headline, Tom, you might be able to get it up while I was
chatting.
I can't get for some reason it's not loading in my multiple in my tabs thing for me to send it to you.
Here we go.
It's a Daily Mail article. That classic.
That is a penis fish.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they really look like. I mean, they look like a lot like penises. They're not actually penises. When I first looked at it, I just thought thousands of penises washed up on a beach, and I thought that's strange.
Sounds
it's a fucking
great.
horrible picture, really, isn't it?
Like just severed penises.
They're glitchy little horrible things.
Yeah.
So biologists found thousands of fat innkeeper, is what they're actually called, innkeeper worms on the shore of Drake's Beach in California. Formerly known as fat innkeeper worm, an expert believes a recent storm forced the worms out of underwater homes and carried them onto the beach, leaving them exposed to predators. To be honest, there's not much more to the story other than the fact that they look a bit like penises. And they've just washed up on the beach, and there's various theories about them.
I'm going to have a look at the penis fish.
There's a couple of really good pictures.
There are some really good photos, yeah.
Like this one, which is looks really very much like a penis. And there's one that's like a big bag of penises.
Yeah.
Big bag of dicks.
Yeah.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah, for anyone who wants to see it themselves, if you're not watching a video, just Google penis fish beach is what I done, and there was a few different articles that have reported on it. Yes, it's a good. They do look like they've got balls as well. Like, it's like
that one's been posed.
Some of them are more penisy than the others, I've noticed.
Yeah.
So like
some of them got little helmets.
This sea otter's, he's munching down on one there.
Oh
sea otter munching a penis dick.
He's munching a little penis fish there.
Little fucking savage sea otters, aren't they?
That's awful.
Do you know they're like absolute savages, sea otters?
Really?
You know, there's that whole thing where like sea otters like holding hands, and it's like, oh, ain't that cute? Sea otters holding hands, and like apparently what they do some fucked up shit, like they'll
eat penis fish.
Nah, like they like rape other otters.
Oh.
But then like he puts some bacteria into them, and then it like slowly kills them or something, and then they kill them, and then they rape their dead bodies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like they do some fucked up shit.
That's hardcore.
And,
yeah. I'm glad they're in the sea and I'm not. I'm staying out the sea.
Yeah.
Well, when I went Prague in, I think it was like September of last year or something, you can hire like little pedalos to go up and down the river in the middle of the city. And we were just out on a pedalo, like me and my friends, we had like two pedalos between us, and in the wall, like the river bank, there was like these little gaps in the wall, and otters were coming in and out of it, like they lived in the wall at the edge of the river, and they were just swimming about. Like they would just come out and swim, and they kind of just, they'd lay on their back and just kind of like float about, and
yeah.
they're obviously just so used to tourists in these pedalos coming up and down that you could get right up close to them, and I really wanted to touch an otter. Is what I wanted to try and do. And I got within like an inch. I was like hanging out and I'm trying to grab it, and they were sort of like looking at me as if to be like, I don't care that you're here. But then as soon as I sort of went to touch it, they would swim away.
I care enough to not let you touch me.
Yeah, because
with your fucking shit human diseases.
Because I assumed that they were nice and cuddly and friendly, but maybe they're not.
Yeah,
maybe
mate,
they're
no.
just
if you'd have touched
savage.
it'd have jumped up. It'd have jumped up, raped your fucking eyeballs. Yeah.
And raped me with his bacteria.
Yeah. Savage fuckers. I may have added the bacteria thing, but they do something involving raping the dead ones. Something like that. We'll find out. But that can be on next week's episode, or next episode's version of Was I Changed Shit.
If it was interesting, then I'll talk about it next episode.
Yeah.
I'll try and get an interview with an otter.
I mean, that better be brought up, seeing as we talked about fucking courgettes last time in the in the recap.
Yeah. Well, there was one other thing about this. Obviously, some people eat them. It may be a rare sighting in the US, but South Korea, Japan, and China. Great bit of journalism. That's the whole sentence, by the way. They may be a rare sighting in the US, but South Korea, Japan, and China. End of the sentence.
Well,
fucking,
what more do you want? What more do you want?
I mean, it's probably meant to say, but not in South Korea. Those who have dined on this worm say it is chewy, salty, and surprisingly sweet. It's often served with savoury sauce made from sesame oil and salt or a spice. You can grill it and shit, salt and pepper. I mean, it doesn't look overly appetizing.
I'd probably try it.
I'd probably try it just to say I had, yeah. Just to have a picture of you.
Yeah, why not? It's just
chowing down on
a
it.
fish. Like it's barely even a fish.
fishy,
You can't call that a fish. It's like it's just a like matter. It's just
sort of like a mollusk. Yeah.
Its official name is a Eurychus unicinctus.
Yeah, I see that.
Unicinctus.
Or innkeeper worm is what.
Yeah, or innkeeper worm, or spoon worm, or penis fish. Yeah.
Or penis fish. They're fucking blippy cunts though. There's a video on at the bottom of this article, them like sort of jibbing about, and they sort of they move like they sort of come up the body. That's the worst thing anyone's ever described. They have like a sort of bulge which kind of just gradually grows up the body. You know what they look like actually? Remember those? Do you ever have one of those things? They were like fiddle things. They were like balloons. They were kind of like a balloon wrapped in a balloon.
It was like a squidgy bag type thing, and you squeeze it and it comes out like you can't. Yeah. When you squeeze it, it like forces its way out of your hand almost.
Yeah. They kind of look a bit like that, don't they?
Yeah,
they kind of like I want to play one of those things now.
Well, just go and find a penis fish. Apparently in Japan they wash up on beaches quite a lot as well. So it's like a thing that's being looked into quite a lot.
What? As in these wash up a lot?
Yeah, it says on here that they wash up regularly in Japan, but further studies are being undertaken to try and figure out why. So maybe. I mean, there's a lot of whale beaches and stuff.
They love mad shit out there, don't they?
Yeah. They do love some mad shit out there. Yeah.
I did see a lot of mad shit out there on menus actually.
Did you? Like what?
Well, I mean, on one hand, it's quite good. You know, they use in Japan and China, they use every part of the animal, right? So rather than only using like the prime cuts of a pig or a cow or something like that, they'll use like the vagina and penis and skin and bone gristle. You can there was these things called yakitori in Japan. They're like little kebabs, like a little skewer. And some of them were just gristle, so it was just a bit of gristle on a stick. Others were like skin, chicken skin, or womb, or vagina, and it was specifically called that on the menu. I tried the gristle thing; it was alright. It's just a bit crispy, a bit chewy.
I was gonna say, did you try any like weird parts of the body that you don't normally get on Western.
I didn't
maybe.
try. I didn't try any of the womb or vagina or anything like that. But yeah, I tried like all the other weird bits. The less weird bits, I should say.
I mean, it's no less weird than eating anything's
Eating a
flesh, I
vagina.
suppose, is it?
Yeah.
Just
Well,
whatever.
I
It's only
suppose
what
so.
we're used to.
It probably doesn't
there you
taste
go.
as good, does it? Like, even though it's
Different.
still, it's still meat and it's still edible. There's a reason we've chosen specific parts of specific animals to eat. It's because they
Yeah, I
taste
suppose.
good and they don't have a personality. Like,
And they don't have a personality.
Apologies to any vegan listeners that are listening.
I do wonder if I feel like one of the reasons that, like, in many cultures people don't eat like cats and dogs and stuff is because obviously they're pets, but I wonder if they became pets just because they weren't that tasty. Like you eat them and you're like, oh, they that weren't very good, let's not eat them. We'll just have them hanging around the house or in the camp.
The reason we befriended dogs is sort of like a mutual relationship is because they we used them to scare off
like hunting and scaring off other predators and stuff like that.
They were useful for hunting and scaring off shit away from the sheep if you managed to train them. And cats pretty much they came from Egypt originally. Like all cats, you can trace them all back to like 3 cats, like 3 breeds of cat. There's only like, that's why all cats, that's why there's like dogs are so fucking different, but like cats, they're all pretty much like cats, don't they?
Yeah.
And you can trace them all back to like, these 3. And cats were revered by the ancient Egyptians because they basically said they're like the gods, didn't they? Because the god's image was cats.
Yeah, that's silly.
Yeah. and then again, a similar thing. I don't know how they eventually made their way around the world. They used to stow away on ships and stuff.
They went on a gap year.
Well, they used to keep them on ships to eat the rats and to eat them and to keep the rats and the mice away. And then we did the same thing in like barns. We'd allow them to be around the barns and around the animals because they'd scare mice away, which ate crops and shit like that. So then eventually they'd come inside the house. You'd be like, "You're all right, cat. Go on, you can have a little bit of food." And
Yeah, but I bet they don't taste that good.
thing is, they probably taste fine. Like, I don't see why a dog would not taste as good as a fucking pig.
Well, yeah, I mean they're eating in China and Korea. I think they eat dogs.
think
Lots
Korea
of cultures
is
around
a
the
lot of
world
places,
eat
yeah.
dogs, right? I don't know
I mean,
about
but
cats.
it is fucked up, but it is also fucked up. It is quite equally as fucked up eating any animal, really. When you're like, they are pretty similar. Like, if you just did have a pet pig, it'd probably be pretty.
Oh yeah, people do say that about
charming,
like cows. Is
as he
that they're
says in
like,
Pulp
they're
Fiction.
basically like
Yeah.
dogs. Like they run over and they want to play and stuff like that. And they they do taste good.
Yeah, they do really.
Anyway, should we leave the wholesale slaughter of animals there and talk about something a bit more happy? Because otherwise I'm going to feel really, really sad.
Well, there you
for the
go.
rest of the
Yeah,
episode.
I would eat a
maybe you
penis
should
fish.
maybe you should feel sad and think about it.
Well, yeah, what Tom says, I'm just going to think about eating a penis fish.
Yeah,
and
I would
that'll
also.
cheer me
I
up.
would eat a penis fish.
And
to
I
be
bet
fair.
they don't have personalities.
Just to say I tried it. Yeah, no, they
Yeah,
don't
do you
look
reckon
very.
they must have a brain, right? Those penis fish.
No,
Don't know. We'll look into
not
it. If they
everything has to have a
nervous
brain.
system.
Yeah, they just have a nervous system.
Central nervous system. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a worm.
I reckon it's one of them things.
But I mean, I've got 1.5 more articles, so they're sort of one and the same.
All right.
And it is more lighthearted. Well, you could argue, but it still involves animals. NASA. So this is the headline of the first one, but they sort of link. The first one led me on to the second one there. NASA prepped for alien communication with LSD dolphin sex experiment.
Yeah, I'm hooked.
Yeah, so I think like one of these bits, I think she came up before. So the gist of the article, I can't bother to read it all out because I want to talk a little bit more about the other one. But the gist of the article is an American neuroscientist was fascinated by dolphins, and he had a whole as
They are
a lot of
interesting.
people probably are. Yeah,
Is this the guy that had sex with him?
I got that guy. The guy who had sex with him is the next thing I wanted to talk
Right,
about.
okay.
But in this thing, there was a dude that he had a whole book about his attempts to teach English to a dolphin, right? To teach it to speak language. And it says here, his intraspecies communications experiments attracted the attention of Frank Drake, the American astronomer and astrophysicist, who dreamed up the famous equation estimating how many alien civilizations there were in our galaxy. that could have been. I think I spoke about it in the alien one. The name of his equation. Wasn't it? I wonder if that's hidden. I can't remember what it's called now.
Is that the Fermi's paradox? I think.
The Fermi paradox
remember.
is, yeah. His name wasn't Fermi. Anyway,
Probably not that.
and the Fermi paradox is like there just has to be there's less.
Right, okay.
It's like it can't possibly. Like, the Fermi paradox is there's so many that exist, but yet we haven't seen any. We've got no evidence for it.
Okay.
Like
His was
Bigfoot.
more like an equation of like how many based on how many stars, etc. There must be.
Yeah.
How many
Anyway.
Bigfoots? How many Bigfoots?
How
are
many
out there?
big feet are about? Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, they had this idea that because aliens probably won't have, the theory is they won't necessarily have arms and mouths and legs the same way we do. So neither do dolphins. So if you can work out the theory of communicating with a dolphin, would set us up for being able to communicate with alien species.
Yeah, I get that.
Which is pretty logical,
Yeah.
to be honest. It's like not actually ridiculous. So that's what kind of the work's about, and because most languages that currently exist on Earth have a few things in common. The sounds we use, the idea of grammar. It can be different to learn a new language, but it's doable. After all, we all have much the same bodies, but aliens will not have the same bodies as us. So NASA actually teamed up with a dude. They saw Lily as a key to making the linguistic leap to talking to an individual with totally different physiology. But Lily was more than just a translator. Lily, along with his partner, Margaret Howe Lover, used the NASA money to build a lab where humans could share a space with dolphins. He spent a great deal of time with a young male dolphin who seemed to take a great deal of interest in her. Oh, Lover was a woman. Yeah, I feel like we mentioned this because then she said he was very interested in my anatomy. If I was sitting there and my legs were in the water, he would come up and look at the back of my knee for a long time. He wanted to know how that thing worked, and I was so charmed by it. That charm eventually tipped over into physical intimacy, and according to a notorious profile published in Hustler magazine, reputable source there, Lovatt took to giving Peter sexual relief whenever he became too sexually aroused to participate in her experiments. Sorry, so Peter is a dolphin. So I swear we spoke about this, George, one. So she would basically, give
like maybe
relief to the dolphin.
It's mad, isn't it? I mean, dolphins are well known for like raping or sort of sexually
Aren't they one of the other
attacking humans and other dolphins, but also humans. And don't they do it to like penguins or something? Or have I completely made that up?
Something like that. Yeah, they're one of the only other animals to have sex for pleasure, aren't they? Basically.
Yeah. Us dolphins and bonobos.
Yeah, and they also get on drugs, don't they? Remember that we spoke about that in an episode.
Bang on the gear, isn't they? Bang on the gear.
Pass around the pufferfish. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she jacks off the dolphin, and it's like seemed to make the bond closer.
Well, it would, wouldn't it? I mean,
and they didn't want to have to have a break when he got distracted. So, I was there to get to know Peter. That was part of Peter, is what she said. But Lily experimented, dosed 2 other dolphins of LSD to see if the drug's psychedelic effect could help them communicate. Lovett prevented Lily from giving acid to Peter. She didn't want to give it to Peter. Eventually, Carl Sagan got involved. I want to actually read about this story because it's a mad story. Carl Sagan then gets involved and he's like, chill out with that. He reported back to NASA saying, these guys are giving them fucking LSD and shit. Doesn't really mention anything. Yeah, it doesn't. And wank. Yeah, they're giving them LSD and wanking off the dolphins. So NASA probably went, all right, let's.
What
let's,
one's worse?
Put that one ice.
Wanking
off dolphin or giving LSD.
Yeah.
I mean, arguably giving them LSD, I suppose, because wanking them off is just wanking them off, isn't it? But it depends if the dolphin
if they were not
consenting,
to it, they would swim away, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, perhaps. But they probably didn't really want to be in a tank, a small fucking tank in a lab anyway, did they?
That's like
I've got it pictured in my head that you're like walking to the end of a pier and and the dolphins are just swimming up with a hard on, like, yeah, come. But that's not the way it's going to work, is it?
Well, that's not the way it's now. But then there's a little thing about the thing they built to communicate with him, but it's not that interesting. It's wanking off the dolphin was the funny bit, wasn't it? But then, that did lead me to go on to this article, which I'll quickly talk about, which was a man had sex with a dolphin called Dolly for a year and claimed she seduced him.
Those sexy dolphins, those pesky sexy dolphins.
Well, he's a self-confessed zoophile who claims he had an affair with a dolphin called Dolly after she seduced him. So he was a student when he embarked on a relationship with the bottlenose dolphin in the 1970s. He's written a novel, Wet Goddess. which he tells the story of a young man who has a sexual relationship with a dolphin while he's working at a theme park. So he wrote a novel about it, but it's basically based on him. He admitted the book is autobiography and based on his own experience. I wrote this book for dolphins because we're mistreating these animals by keeping them in captivity, so we should just bang them instead, is basically what he's saying. So he was a photographer and he got to take photos at a theme park that used to be in Florida. He was allowed to swim with the dolphins and he formed a bond with this one called Dolly. He said, I was given free access to the dolphins and I became friends with her by going swimming with her. She was very special. And apparently, right, she announced her intentions towards him by positioning herself so he was rubbing against her. So this was her rubbing up against him, apparently.
So was he Dolly?
At first, I discouraged her. I wasn't interested. After some time, I thought, if this was a woman, would I come up with these rationalizations and excuses? Malcolm insists Dolly became more aggressive in her pursuit of him. He said, I found that extraordinarily erotic. It's like being with a tiger or a bear. This is an animal that could kill you in 2 seconds if I wanted to. I love the way he gives it to that.
Could they?
You know, guys, you've got to understand, this is like a tiger or it's like a tiger or a bear coming on to you. You're going to have to fuck it then, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Okay, fair enough, yeah. Then one night after the theme park had closed, he and Dolly eluded the male. He and Dolly eluded the male dolphins so they could spend time alone, and eventually had sex for the first time. He explained there's something quite transcendental about making love with a dolphin. Bloody hippies, eh? Fucking hell. Fucking all the dolphins.
I'm trying to think of the logistics of that.
Yeah,
Did he put it in the blowhole or what?
Yeah.
It doesn't quite well. But he stuck it in his dolphin vagina.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know. I swam around with it. Like,
surely it's not like this. It's not like designed the same way. You know, is it the same like size or I don't know?
Yeah, dolphins must have a bigger penis than a man. You'd think.
Surely.
Yeah. I'm very ignorant about
maybe George. Maybe you can. Well, so I reached out to him to. Maybe for next episode you can message him and say, how did it actually work? What did it feel like? Anyway, but he said. He added, what is repulsive about a relationship where both partners feel and express love for each other? I know what I'm talking about here because after we made love, the dolphin put her snout on my shoulder, embraced me with her flippers, and we stared into each other's eyes for about a minute. Full on, eh? I mean, if you felt like it was looking at you and it loved it, I bet it was pretty full on. I
don't know. I'm not following his train of thought. I reckon he was just like fucked up on acid. Like
he does sound a little bit like he was on acid, doesn't he?
He thinks he's had sex with a dolphin.
Or it's really just like one of those like cuddly toy dolphins that you win at the theme parks or something. Yeah, and he's just banging that around the. Got it all wet, calling it. But yeah, apparently he reckons the dolphin committed suicide by not coming up to breathe.
There was that film, weren't there?
Yeah, it's in Blackfish, I think.
The Shape of Water was that one that it won an Oscar like a few years ago, and it's about some woman who works at like a military facility where they've got secret experiments going on, and she's just like a cleaner, and then she sneaks into a room and they're experimenting on a man, and he's like half man, half fish, so like a merman, I guess, and she ends up having relations with the fish man. They never
What half of him's a fish?
I started off thinking
he's not like top. It's not like top half fish, bottom half human or anything like that. He's like
that's the classic Family Guy, isn't it? Like I thought it'd be the other way around.
He's humanoid, but he's like all scaly, needs to be in water. He's kind of got like a fish-like face, like just big black eyes and gills.
And he's got a penis fish attached to him as well.
I don't think he has a dick. Like, I think you see his whole body and he doesn't have one. So I don't know what they've done, but like
it might be like a retract one, like a dog's lipstick.
Well, when you started talking, I thought you said a documentary. So then when you carried on talking, I was thinking, what the fuck? Actually,
no. It's a bit of a boring film, to be honest. But this man, he was ahead of the curve. He was doing it, decades ago.
It'd be a much better documentary.
Yeah.
When did the dolphin? You sort of dropped the dolphin death in very.
Sorry. You were saying after 9 months the dolphin died. No, after 9 months the dolphin moved away. They had to move it to a different
Moved
zoo.
away. It took a job in another city.
Yeah, that's what he told him anyway.
Do you reckon there was like a really sad scene as the dolphin got on a train? He was like chasing off the train. Fuck, go.
Yeah, but apparently he was depressed for 5 years, and the dolphin died shortly. No, he was depressed for 5 years after it died. Sorry, but the dolphin moved away shortly after about 9 months, and then shortly after it moved away, it died because the dolphin was also depressed.
Oh.
Said heartbreak.
Man,
Heartbroken.
women are just drama, aren't they?
Just disclaimer: Tom's views are his own and do not represent the Curios cast.
I don't think the dolphin. I was talking about dolphin women.
Oh, dolphin women. Yeah, I mean dolphin women. They're notorious.
Yeah,
They are notorious.
Is a female dolphin a bitch?
She could be.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Sure.
I'll call them a
I
bitch.
don't know. And I think they're called. Aren't they called like cows?
Sows.
Sows.
Yeah. Okay.
Sows.
Sows be
calves.
tripping.
That joke was worth the build-up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's me done. That was
Yeah.
me. Penis fish, Bigfoot, man shags dolphin.
That's good. That's classic. That's a classic
Yeah.
sort of trifecta of
Yeah.
Curios
Yeah.
cast topics.
Yeah, not bad. Eh?
I've got some aquatic-themed stories as
Well,
well.
we should
Yeah.
segue to you then, Tom.
Or just the one, but one aquatic theme story. So this is something I found quite a while ago, and I've just had it sort of saved in the archives for a rainy day. And here we go. So as we know, we're fortunate enough to live in a country where we can get healthcare when we need it. So if we ever had an infection and we needed some antibiotics, we would go to the doctor and we'd get the antibiotics most likely. In America and other countries that don't have sort of any universal healthcare like that, you'll need to pay for the antibiotics if you don't have any insurance. So if you don't have insurance, even if you do, you'd have to maybe pay like a little excess or something like that. So in America, there are lots of people who, instead of going to the doctor and paying to see a doctor or buying antibiotics, or if their insurance hasn't renewed, they're using fish antibiotics, which apparently are basically the exact same as human antibiotics. Now, I'm not a doctor and I haven't looked into it much, so don't take my word as go and have some fish antibiotics.
We're gonna have to put a disclaimer at the front of this podcast now.
But there's
we're gonna get huge. We're gonna get flagged by that auto.
Oh, yeah,
Did
the
we already
auto
get flagged by one of
fact-check
those? There's some bullshit in
yeah,
this.
we got flagged for your you talking about aliens being real, and there was like, and we on our YouTube video, there's like a little bit at the bottom that says like, read here for more information about alien abductions. They're not real. But yeah, I don't know how Google know that.
In YouTube,
Google
Mate,
keeping us down. Yeah,
it's
bollocks.
part of the
Typical.
the big conspiracy, man.
He's part of the global elite
Yeah.
trying to fucking
So
cover up the aliens. Sorry.
when you go onto Amazon and you look up fish antibiotics, and it comes up with, of course, lots of different. And these are things that you can just buy off the counter. So you can go into a pet shop, or you can go onto Amazon and you can get fish antibiotics and not have to see a doctor, of course, because you're buying it for your fish. So people have been buying Amazon antibiotics for their fish and using it for themselves. And then the reviews are what I found the best part of this. So I'm going to read some of the reviews. There's this whole article that goes on about like the health effects of having antibiotics and like the
As I say, it's not a great idea to have too many antibiotics.
and the healthcare system in America.
Yeah.
So not interested. Like, it's not interesting content. Well, I went straight for the reviews. So here we go. So 5 stars. My fish had their wisdom teeth coming in, and it caused an infection. This cleared the infection perfectly.
So they're like keeping up the facade.
Yeah, so
in the
everyone's like
comments,
pretending.
So,
Yeah, so my fish started work at a new job, and his insurance hadn't kicked in yet. Well, of course, my fish got a bad case of bronchitis or something like that. Nevertheless, we decided to give him some meds, and boom, within 2 days, he was good as new again and just kept swimming.
Good old fish.
Yeah, another one. My fish have been sick for 2 weeks straight and having trouble sleeping at night. I finally figured the fish have a bad sinus infection, and after these, they're all good. Blah blah blah.
There's probably one legit one in there that is
that probably
actually
is their fish,
about a fish with
Yeah,
a sinus
yeah.
infection. Yeah.
Yeah, there was someone here saying that they went to go to the pet store to get some antibiotics and they couldn't find them, and the guy said, yeah, they knew what people were doing, so they just took them away. But there's some more reviews. I'm just skipping all this like actual science stuff. Yeah.
I mean, surely antibiotics are just the same regardless, right? Because it's just an antibiotic.
Apparently, that's what all the,
by its nature is, yeah.
Yeah, that's what everyone here is saying. What's this one? My fishy friend, in like quotes, my fishy friend had a horrible bacterial infection that just kept getting worse. His scales turned a distressing shade of red and were very irritated. The vet was prohibitively expensive. So after extensive research, we found this brand of antibiotics. Within a few days of treatment, my aquatic amigo felt like his old self. After following the prescribed treatment and until completion, his improvement has been drastic. Blah blah blah. That one's not very funny.
I think he was talking about his penis. My fishy friend.
Yeah, that one. There was a lot of ones in quotes there.
Yeah.
I have to pop on the glasses. The writing's tiny on this website.
Oh.
My fish's teeth and gums became infected. rather than a $125 trip to the fish dentist,
He hasn't tried that hard, has he, this bloke?
Yeah, like they talk about their fish's teeth and gums and the fish dentist. I gave the fish some antibiotics, and within the next several days, my fish's teeth and gums were normal again. Great money saving.
So what's it actually prescribed? Are they just like generic antibiotics? Or,
yeah, well,
I guess, yeah, because there's no antibiotic. You don't go to the doctor and they say, I'm giving you gum antibiotics. It's all antibiotics, isn't it? There's like 3 different types of antibiotics, and you get them for having some sort of...
Yeah.
That's why there's a problem with over-prescribing in a minute, because they hand them out, they just dish them out, and the trouble is you build up an immunity to them.
Yeah. I don't think over here they get branded at all. They are just antibiotics, but I think in America you get different brands of them as well. And because all the adverts in America, ask your doctor for, and they tell us, so you'd go into the doctor and say, I want, that's illegal over here.
Amamisacraf, yeah.
Big pharma, bro.
Yeah, but they're I guess when it comes to fish antibiotics, there's probably loads of different ones, and they're they know what they're doing. They know they're just making antibiotics and sort of like marketing them as fish. Yeah, and I think because fish are one of those animals that are probably like the least cared about. Like people like you can't. If you had a dog that was ill or something, you'd probably want to take that to the vet and get it checked out and make sure you're doing the right thing. With like a fish, I feel like most of the time it's just like you Google it and just go in the shop and try and figure it out yourself. So I feel like that's
you could take it to the vet, but it probably won't cure it. No. It might make things a bit worse.
Yeah.
What, if you bung it in your pocket?
Yeah, just bosh it out on the vet's table.
Yeah.
It's got worse.
Great alternative to racking up debt at the fish hospital. My fish came down with a nasty case of bronchitis and sinusitis. I don't know if that's a word. Just before Christmas, but her health insurance doesn't kick in until the 1st of this year. She couldn't go to the fish doctor because she only makes minimum wage at the aquarium, and a trip to the fish emergency room would have put her in debt so far she wouldn't be able to get out. So she tapped on the edge of a tank with her sick little fin and blue bubbles in Morse code to ask me to order these for her. They work great. No more bronchitis and sinusitis free. And she only had to miss 1 day of work at the aquarium. It's all just ridiculous.
It reminds me a little bit of that. You seen that meme? It was like a little comic strip about. I've been watching Breaking Bad again recently. And it reminded me. I'll try and find it and send it to you.
I've still never watched Breaking Bad.
What the fuck?
Have you not? Oh,
yeah, never watched it.
It was like if Breaking Bad.
I know. It's been on my list for years, but
now is the like optimal. You've got time. Now's the best.
There is good time for it. Yeah.
No.
It's like one of those things that do you feel like because everyone else has said fucking watch this, you're like, if you miss the boat slightly, you then become reluctant to jump on it. Like
Yeah, it's a bit
I'm the
like
same with Game of
Thrones.
Thrones. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
the
I
same with
never-
Game of Thrones. It's like I missed it. I can't be asked now.
Well,
Yeah.
don't bother with Game of Thrones because it gets shit at the end. But
Well, now everyone's told me that, so I'm like, I have absolutely no desire to spend 8 hours watching it if I know the ending.
Yeah,
and
no,
shit.
don't bother because you'll watch the first 5 seasons and you'll be loving it, and then that's when you'd want to drop out because it gets shit after that. But you won't want because you'll be hooked, so you'll just get disappointed.
Yeah, so then it's too late. Yeah.
The last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones, I used to just watch instead of watching the actual episodes. I just watched. It was a YouTube channel that just like recapped it. So I was just watching the recap videos.
I remember
And for a time, and we'd I'd get like abused by you, Tom. You was one of the people that gave me some stick, and then a few other people were giving me stick because I just couldn't bring myself to watch the last 2 seasons.
No. I
Especially
wasn't
the
giving you
last
stick
season.
because you didn't watch it. I was giving you stick because we would all be talking about the episode. Us and a few others, and we're saying, "Oh, this was good, but this sucked," or whatever. And you'd come in with your hot takes and your opinions that are just fucking. You just watched a 10-minute YouTube video that summarised it.
But that's all
what
you need.
was
It's all
it?
you need. It was like
when
the,
it got towards the end, George couldn't be bothered to watch it, so he watched YouTube channel of someone saying, "This is what happened last episode. It was pretty shit. This was pretty good," and George would come in and just repeat it.
yeah.
Brilliant.
But
So
all of it was accurate, So that's all you need.
So I've just seen the meme that you've put in there, Rob.
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Is it a bit of a?
No, it's no like spoiler or anything like that. It's basically a game, not Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad meme where you know in the first you find out in the first 20 minutes of Breaking Bad, like the main character gets cancer and he needs to make money, so he starts making meth. But this is if Breaking Bad was in the UK.
Yeah, and it's basically just, Mr. White, I'm afraid you have incurable lung cancer. And he's like, but how will I pay for my medical treatments? This will bankrupt my family. And then the doctor's like, nonsense. The government will pay your medical bills, taxpayer. What kind of barbaric society would allow medical care to hinge on a person's wealth? And he's like, oh, phew. In that case, I guess I go back to teaching chemistry. And he's like, the end.
It's crazy though. And imagine living somewhere where
It is fucking crazy,
you don't
man.
have healthcare.
Yeah,
I mean, I
very
guess a lot
fortunate.
of people, not just
That's
in
the
the
price
US,
for
which is
freedom.
Well, yeah, I mean, what the fuck is? I mean, America's the big one that everyone always talks about, but a lot of people around the world just don't have healthcare, even if they can't pay for it, But yeah, it's just madness. It's insane. I read in the US, a lot of people are getting themselves arrested so they can get treatment in prison, because once you're in prison or being held in prison before you've even been charged, they've got, I don't know if it's state to state, but there's a duty of care. So if you've got something wrong with you, then they need to treat you for it.
Mate, that's fucking dark, isn't it?
A lot of homeless people are getting themselves arrested. If they get sick or might need to have a foot amputated or something. It's madness.
If you feel like you need your old foot amputated, then just lying there thinking, oh man, I really. Or you could be that bloke who really wants his leg amputated from the other episode.
Yeah, or the Slovenian one who cut a hand off.
That was dark, wasn't it? That was, right. Enough of that. We'll lose. We had feedback from listeners. Well, one
a listener,
which is about 50% of our listeners.
Cool. That was pretty much it for the fish stuff. There's the article's actually really long, but it's all talking about the American healthcare system, antibiotics, and like what you were saying about how they're overprescribed, blah blah blah. And then it has like a picture of on the back of the box where it says caution for aquarium and ornamental fish only, not intended for human use. Also, there's 3 different brands here, and all of them the ingredient just says antibacterial agent, and that's it. So I guess they're all the same. It's just different branding.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
But that's it for the fish reviews. I thought they were funny. I like the charade that sort of like everyone's just buying into. Like you go on there and you're like, okay, I see what people are doing, and then everyone else kind of just joins in. Everyone's like, yeah, my fish was sick, and my fish's teeth, his wisdom teeth were coming through.
Some people are trying less hard than others.
Yeah, that's good. I've got this other one here. This is just it's quite a light-hearted one. Quite brief. essentially a profanity filter blocks bone and other terms at online paleontology conference. So the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology, of course, usually would host its regular conference in person, but can no longer do that due to the pandemic. So they are hosting their conference online. But it doesn't actually say what software they were using, I think, to host this conference. But there was a auto profanity filter on this bit of software, and it was obviously cranked up a little bit. It was blocking quite a lot of words that would be maybe important if you are a paleontologist, like the word bone. So these paleontologists couldn't type bone because it was, of course, thinking that they were talking about having sex and boning and stuff. And then they started figuring out what was going on. So these paleontologists had to make a spreadsheet of all the words that it was filtering out that they needed to be unfiltered. Or like how to type it alternatively. So instead of like BONE, they would do like B0NE or something like that. So all these doctors and stuff that are obviously like quite, I guess probably held in quite high regard in their field are having to type like they're a teenager or something with like B0N3 or whatever.
Yeah, basically using elite speak.
Yeah, and some of the words you had bone, pubic. So of course, if referring to a particular part,
that is a rude word though.
Yeah,
yeah, as if that was blocked by a.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't actually know what they were using. I haven't read the article properly, but they were
anti-paleontology filter.
Yeah,
someone's like really against paleontologists.
Just the word sexual was blocked. Hell, because there was a place called Hell Creek that they had to talk about, which is a famous fossil formation in Montana, but they couldn't type hell.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that used to be like seen as a cuss word, right? Hell. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like you'd say like go to hell or what the hell or stuff like that. But
do you reckon it was like seen as being more rude, 100 years ago or something like that? Or surely no one's getting offended by that now.
Yeah, I think as you go back and the more religious, society is, probably the more offensive it would be. But now that I feel like everybody kind of casually swears now, right?
Yeah,
and
even priests.
Yeah.
The Pope.
Did they?
Yeah, the Pope. Right, the Pope. What?
Oh, I thought there was evidence. I thought it was like a video of the Pope like coming out and just going.
Yeah.
What's up, the Vatican, you bunch of cunts? Do you know what I want? So
he seems like
my friend. He does seem like the sort of word, of all the popes.
You've seen those videos of him like slapping people's hands away when they get a bit too grabby with him and stuff like that, and he's just like, fuck off.
Well, I actually almost brought a Pope video, but it was a bit shit, really. It was like it was people saying that like the Pope was a hologram. During like he gave like a speech recently, so he's still been coming out to his balcony, even though there's not really supposed to be. Even during lockdown, there was not supposed to be anyone out there, but they film it or whatever, and so come out to his balcony and do his address, and then he like turned around and walks away, and then like fades out. It was like there was quite a lot of footage where he really did look like it was really like it was like one starting out like frame by frame, and then in one frame it's like he's there, the next frame he's like fading out, the next frame he's gone. And it was like people reckon it was like a hologram. They bunged a hologram of him up there instead, because like either he's dead or or he was too ill and they didn't want people to know he was ill.
Yeah.
But then there's another
big session the night before.
Yeah, whatever. When I was looking for it though, I just found looking up about it, I found there's like another video where it was just like that didn't happen. He just walked away. But they could have put that one up after, a better edited version.
They're trying
after they saw
trying to
people
cover
onto
it up.
them. Yeah.
So a couple of the other words that were blocked. Again, pubic, stroke,
cubic or pubic?
Pubic, yeah.
Oh,
so like a pubic bone.
Probably not cubic, was it, George?
Well, stroke was one, and stream.
Terrible word that.
Stream.
Yeah.
Like piss stream.
What's wrong with stream? How can you? I kind of piss streams, but the only way you can make that dirty.
Yeah.
I fucking put my piss stream all over her. Or she stood up and
Come streamed out of her.
Yeah,
Come
gushing like a
streamed out of
stream.
her, yeah.
Yeah.
Gushing like a stream.
One participant noted that the filter blocked the Asian name Wang, but did not block the Western name Johnson, even though both are slang for male genitalia.
That is
Got
racism.
some white supremacy in the paleontology software.
God, he's
I like Johnson
out.
as a slang word for
I
a
like
penis.
Johnson
Yeah,
as a
it's a
slang.
good
It's good,
one.
isn't it?
Johnson's a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah, I've probably never used it. I have to start.
Yeah, Johnson. Right in the Johnson.
Yeah.
Get your Johnson out, son.
There's no other words here that I can find. It says that the solution was they contacted the virtual platform provider and they rectified the situation promptly. So, they gave them the spreadsheet and got it fixed. It says here, as you can see from the updated spreadsheet, but I can't find the spreadsheet. So I'll see if I can. Maybe I can find it. That'd be good if we could find every word, and I'll see if there's any other ones. I'm trying to think what.
The irony would be if like actual swear words were fine, like they were completely unfiltered.
Yeah, what
So
if
they
you could
couldn't-
just write prick and like.
Yeah.
fuck or
yeah,
something?
yeah, I'll do that.
If the
It's
only
like
solution,
dinosaur cunt.
the only solution would have been to replace bone with like dick. You know, so we found a well-preserved dick in the soil.
It's weird that you would need it anyway. Like you would even need a
Yeah, just in
profanity,
case.
yeah.
Just in case one of the paleontologists was like, "You,"
yeah.
and
It's
you
really.
just want to wank off a dinosaur,
Yeah.
you old prick.
He's gone rogue.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess they could, because have you heard about that thing people were doing in, like, there were like yoga classes and stuff, and then some blokes would just find out that it was
Just
there
join
was a
in.
yoga class, and they'd just be there just fucking wanking. It's just on video of them. There they were, just fucking lobbing one out. People, there was lots of videos doing the rounds where like some woman was there just like attending a Zoom class or whatever, and then they'd be like, "What the fuck is going on?" They'd be like, these two old blokes just, they'd be like, they have like the 9 videos of all the people there. Two of the videos just these old blokes just there fucking going for it.
I found.
Weren't there
It
loads
shouldn't
of
be funny
things
because
of-
it's quite fucking bad really, but it is kind of funny.
There was loads of things of people breaking into Zoom calls during the first lockdown, like university lectures and other lectures.
Yeah.
People would find out the code, and then like the same thing, probably not as graphic, but like join. Doing something weird or doing something funny or just like trying to disrupt the thing, and then they'll just leave again.
Yeah,
That is pretty funny.
because people didn't know to block it at first, could they? Or you couldn't block, or eventually Cotton On, you had to allow people in. But yeah, at first it was just rogue, like the fucking Wild West. Just turn up to any Zoom call you like and just knock one out. Well, you could probably just Zoom / and just type in a load of numbers for a while, especially during the first lockdown when everyone was on it, and then whatever video came up, fucking start knocking one out to. I remember this. I think it was a girl that told me about this in college. That said, you could do a thing called RuTube Roulette, and it used to be like RuTube was one of the porn websites. I read in books that apparently RuTube was a porn website, and but it was, all the porn videos were categorized with like numbers after them, just like a series. I think like 5 numbers.
Okay.
It definitely used to be 5 numbers, but it used to be a thing. So you go on to RuTube.com and you type any 5 numbers, then you have to knock one out to whatever video comes up. RuTube Roulette.
That's a good idea. There's probably more that I would not want to watch than there is that I would want to watch.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. There's definitely on. Yeah.
Right, next for the Christmas special, we'll be playing RuTube Roulette live.
I found the list. I found the spreadsheet. It says a Google Docs.
Spreadsheet. Of course, they made a spreadsheet.
So yeah, the ones we had: hell, bone, arse, fuca, like Fuca. I don't know what that means.
What? Arse those on there, like.
Arse is like
Why
ASS.
arse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple that I'm like, I wonder. Not.
They're just like normal.
Yeah, some of them I'm wondering why the paleontologists needed to type this.
Yeah.
Unless like sometimes you get really bad. I've had it in like like games before where you have like the game chat, and obviously people can get quite leery, like chatting away when they're playing games or whatever. And sometimes it'll be so heavy-handed with the filtering that, say like arse, like spelt ASS, ass. You can't even you wouldn't be able to type like associate or something because it has that in it.
As soon as you start doing it, bang, it cuts it.
So maybe that's what happened here. I don't know. But yeah, you've got fuca, F-U-C-A, jerk, knob, pubis, pubic, pubes. I don't know, why would you say pubes? Like
they're obviously like, all right, pubic, yeah, oh fucking
they just figure out,
pubic, oh fucking hell. Pubes,
so
oh fuck.
Sexual, stroke, stream, wang,
Stream's a good
dyke, sex, erection, ball.
What? Why are they looking for? Of course, it won't let you type erection if it.
But erection, you could say, we
Something
were
was
building.
erected,
Yeah, no,
So
but
the
they're talking about
Yeah.
dinosaur bones and stuff.
but they could have had to erect a tower in order to.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
or
true.
they found
Surround.
it next to an erection of stones or something. Like,
Or the dinosaur,
Yeah.
the dinosaur died with an erection.
yeah,
Or that.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if a dinosaur had an erection, it would be hard for
Yeah,
it to.
but then like ball,
Climb over a wall.
just the word ball, B-A-L-L. Like, I don't know why that would be blocked.
Yeah.
Because you probably say ball more in the context of not your genitals than you do your genitals, right?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
What
I don't
about-
know.
what about
Suck
nuts?
My balls.
Nuts is not
There's
there.
nuts on there.
You've
These
got
nuts.
You've got arses, iffy, like IFFY. If something's a bit iffy, oh, that's blocked. Now that one didn't actually.
That's a terrible
so
word.
they
that
also put a column whether it got fixed or not. So far, all the ones I said got fixed. Iffy didn't get fixed.
It's too far.
yeah,
Too far.
one. Too
Iffy.
far. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
You have to keep iffy blocked.
Yeah.
Crack. That didn't get fixed.
What's wrong with
I
crack?
don't know. Lies. Like
Lies.
Yeah, like-
you can't say the word
Lies.
lies.
enlargement.
I like that.
Oh, this is brilliant. Oh wait, so they've put fixed and then they've got an X. Like they've just typed X. I don't know if I thought fixed would. If they've marked X, that means it has been fixed, but maybe it means it doesn't.
Yeah.
It hasn't been fixed because then they've just got a fuck, and that's got an X next to it. So I would assume that one probably wouldn't have got fixed out of all of them, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Case in
Yeah.
you just really need to talk about dinosaurs. Fucking like.
damn, beaver,
Fuckosaurus Rex. Beaver.
beaver, what is this word? Enterococcus. That's a good word.
That just actually is a paleontologist. Like, yeah. What is
Yeah,
that?
wait. Let me. I'll see if one of you can pronounce it better. I typed it.
Enterococcus.
Well, I didn't type it. I copied and pasted it. Enterococcus.
Enterococcus.
Yeah, that is a good word.
Coccus. Do you know something to do with a spine?
Enterococcus.
Enterococcus. Have you ever entered a coccus, Rob?
I think it's Enterococcus.
Oh yeah,
Enterococcus.
Enterococcus. Yeah, he's right.
Okay. Flange.
Why is that word so funny? That is a funny word.
Oh,
isn't it?
flange is a good word.
No two ways.
Yeah.
No two ways about it.
Penetrate. Lie. So you can't have lies or lie. And crap. That's the list. The complete list. 33 words there.
So Enterococcus is a
Enterococcus is how you pronounce it. Yeah.
Enterococcus is a bacteria. So that is something that Antibiotics, Tom, will work on.
Oh yeah.
How about that?
Enterococcus. Like that.
Enterococcus.
Enterococcus.
Enterocarcus is what the YouTube video I was listening to.
I don't want
So,
Enterococcus.
anyway, We've said that word far too many times.
But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine why that would be blocked because obviously, I guess it's funny. It sounds like enter a cock, but it doesn't actually have. It's not spelt like that. It's
No,
Yeah.
that's a deep paleontological joke as well, isn't it? To be like,
Oh, I bet you would like it,
Enterococcus,
Enterococcus, wouldn't you?
You're
Yeah.
sniggering at the back. You're laughing at the back.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So
I want to go to the
that's
next paleontology meeting
Yeah, we'll have to try and get the Zoom ID or whatever it was.
Yeah, and then Rob can whip his enterococcus out and I know, take him down to the stream.
There we go. I've got one more thing to talk about, and it's pretty brief. Alleged porch pirate arrested after wearing exact same shirt to court from surveillance footage. So, a porch pirate, as you might know, is someone who steals packages from people's front doors, like on their porch.
No, that's what they were called, though. That's a great name for it.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So, yeah, sometimes what they even do is they like follow round, the Amazon delivery man, they'll wait until, they go knock on a door, someone's not in, say leave it on their porch, and then they wait for them to drive away, and then they just walk off, grab it, and walk away. And I
was talking about this the other day. It's a very modern conundrum, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those things.
But also seems pretty obvious, especially at the moment where they're not actually waiting for you to answer the door.
Yeah, they just kind of put it down and
they just knock and leave it. Yeah, and a lot apparently Hermes are one of the worst for it because it's not their fault. They're on fucking like job and knocks. They just got to get the fucking job done. So they'll knock. And then they'll leave, like, just because they fucking run off to the next one. And now they don't have to wait for you to scan it. They're like, well, that's a fucking opportunity to get the fuck out of there. And matey just follows them round, and just sweeps it up. It seems like it must be like Christmas for them, isn't it?
This this microphone that I got for the to allow us to record these, exactly that. It just got left outside, but it wasn't in Amazon box packaging or anything. It was just in the actual box, so everyone just knew like that brand.
It's just really obvious what it was.
So it was just like this, like sitting on my doorstep. Obviously, I live in a block of flats, so it's not quite as bad. But if it was just left out the front of my house, it's blatantly just
anyone,
like a £150 microphone
just could have had it.
Yeah.
It's also one of those things. Not only is it a new conundrum that's come up, I guess, or a new phenomena, but also the fact that loads of people have like these Ring doorbells as well is we're getting like loads of footage of it, and it's always just perfect footage where a lot of the time people get these doorbells for this reason, like they've had something stolen from their front door, so they're like, fuck it, I better get one of those doorbells. And
here's a conspiracy for you. The company Ring are actually they started up the Porch Pirates.
That's a brilliant idea.
Highly
illegal, but he's very smart. But anyway, this guy, an accused porch pirate, has been arrested after wearing the exact same shirt the very next day to a South Carolina courtroom that he had worn to steal packages from people's porches, according to authorities. So
did he also have a peg leg and a tricorn hat and a parrot on his shoulder?
I'll post the article so you can have a look at the man. Essentially what happened was he was caught on CCTV footage that the resident had outside the front of their house. They had something stolen from their porch and they reported it to their local police, so they sent the footage to their police. The police posted it onto their social media saying, hey, this one of our residents has had a package stolen. This is the guy. Keep your eye out for him, or does anyone know who this man is? And let us know. The very next day, this man already had a court date for another crime. So he turned up to the court. I think it says he. However, in an announcement posted on Facebook by the Goose Creek Police Department, other police departments are available. Authorities confirmed that the man has been arrested after appearing in a courtroom the very next day wearing the same shirt he had been pictured in while stealing items off the residential porches.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and
that's not a big brain move, that is it really?
No, I was gonna say that's probably the world's dumbest criminals. Yeah, that really serves him right.
So not only they said, remember seeing that post on the left? The Goose Creek Police Department asked in a social media post. Well, sometimes people actually do make our job easy. This guy decided to come. This guy decided to come into our courtroom the day after the first post was made, and lucky for us, he was even wearing the same shirt. We are happy to say he's in custody. And
I love it.
Brilliant.
It's quite it's a rather distinctive shirt as well. It's like a just all green shirt with a red box in the middle, like North Face,
right?
Yeah,
North
a red
Face,
North Face
like...
box in the middle.
Brilliant.
And they've got a clear image of his face. That's pretty much it.
I love it. I love the like police Facebook accounts or Twitter accounts where they just completely rinse someone they've arrested, or like drop them right in it or something like that. I think it's really, really
they're
funny.
Always quite they're usually quite wholesome as well. You can tell sometimes they're not run by like a social media expert or anything like that. They're just it is literally just someone who works at the department that's like, we should have a Facebook page.
It's their job for the day. Like your day is managing the social media.
I like them. They're good.
I love it. Good little story. Good little easy one.
Yeah. That's a nice one.
I love it.
What you got for us?
And we learnt the term porch pirates.
Porch pirate.
Which, I didn't know what a porch pirate was.
There's one video, and it's brilliant, of this lady, a female porch pirate, and you see like the driver come, put the package down, he walks away, drives off, and then car pulls up, the passenger gets out, and it's this rather like big lady, and she kind of like runs across the garden, picks up the package, turns around, starts running, and she slips on the grass, and she falls with a force, and it snaps her arm, like she breaks. I think it's her leg. She like breaks her leg, and she's like screaming like ah, and she's like trying to hop back into the car, and the owner of the house comes out. He's like, what the fuck's going on? Like, just there's this lady holding her package. Holding his package like with a broken leg, and her friend just drives away and leaves her there.
No way! What a cunt!
And so obviously, like the owner of the house ends up calling, I guess, the ambulance and probably the police as well, and she gets obviously done for that. But instant, I think it was probably on the instant karma subreddit. I think.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Bad day at the office, that one, isn't it?
You know what they say is no honour amongst thieves. So
fucking.
All right, what have you got for us, George?
Right. Well, all of mine are fairly short. They're not really too long. It's definitely not like the Cornwall Bigfoot debacle that we had a month or so ago.
Yeah, that was tough.
It was a tough one, that one.
Yeah, it's hard to get through that one.
So, my first story is man claiming to have the world's largest penis exposed as average. Which I think is quite funny. There's a good photo with this one as well. I'm just going to pop it in the... can I just drag and drop into here? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, if it's a photo, it will just drag and drop.
So this is the guy. This is him with his with his penis. So according to a radiologist...
What a great editing job on that as well.
It's brilliant. I don't know what they've done. Or maybe he's got like a sheath on it or something. Anyway, so according to a radiologist who examined CT scans of the man's penis, he's just a big phony. So the photo, for anyone who's not looking on the website, on the YouTube video, it's a picture of a guy maybe in his sort of 50s. He's got like a sombrero on, a red long-sleeved top, no pants, no trousers, and he's just holding his penis in two hands, and it's been sort of blurred out. But the blurring, it looks like a bit like a bowling pin. It's weird. Anyway, so his name is Roberto Cabrera, and he claimed that his penis was almost 19 inches long. In 2015, Roberto Esquivel Cabrera of Saltillo, Mexico, went viral after he posted a video of himself measuring his penis, which he claims is the biggest in the world. And he claimed that it was 18.9 inches, and he was hoping to get recognised by the Guinness Book of World Records.
They don't do that though, do we? We found out they do not do like sexual organs and...
Oh, they not.
So Guinness, Guinness steer clear of it. But there is like a Guinness book. There's like a sex world records separate, unaffiliated with Guinness.
Well, that's where I'm going now for my news.
That do like the world's biggest hits and stuff like that. But Guinness, Guinness
unbranded world records.
The most wanks ever had in a day, you know.
Well, that was
like
Tom. That. Tom did it. We found that out. Oh no, that was in the cut audio, wasn't it? Oh no. The wanking. Anyway, a little snippet of something you're never going to hear, listeners. Anyway, so
there's another photo of him as well, which is brilliant as well. I don't know if you've seen that one, where he's like standing in a dingy alleyway.
I don't think I've seen that. Do you want to track it up?
Yeah. We'll.
I'm just gonna Just pop that up in the thing. So he claimed that he had to keep his almost arm-length penis constantly under wraps.
It's a good photo, isn't it?
It's a really good photo. It's the same. So it's got the same like blocked out or censoring thing as the other one. So it must be like a sheath that he's wearing over it. It's got like a white bit and a little pink tip.
Yeah, if it was
really weird.
If it was that big, you'd have to put it, keep it under control somehow, wouldn't you?
I mean, that is pretty big boy, isn't it? So I like this bit. It says that he had to keep it under wraps to avoid chafing. So I'd assume that he's got some sort of wrap on it.
Yeah.
And he also had to register as disabled due to the size.
Yeah.
He claims the size left him.
Why disabled? Why does?
Don't know.
You couldn't walk around with that, could you? Like, you can't do things.
Suppose,
like, imagine what you do.
And you get all lightheaded and shit when you get a boner because of the amount of blood.
Well, I guess George will keep reading.
Yeah, well, you're going to find something out, Rob.
Can it? All right.
So it left him unable to have sex, and he got regular infections, which is a bit grim. However, as it turns out, Cabrera was just telling tall tales. According to Dr. Jesus Pablo Gilmuro, a radiologist who examined him, the man's penis is really only slightly above average length. He said his suspicions were first raised when Roberto came in for an exam. And this is a quote from the radiologist. It says, "My first impression was that it was a unique and unusual case. I'd never seen a patient before like Roberto. However, when Cabrera refused to take the bandages off his penis so Muro could perform an examination, Muro began questioning him. So he began to doubt his claims after he refused to get it out. So by the sounds of it, he keeps it a bit covered over. And this is the good bit. This is the funny bit. So eventually they requested a CT scan, which revealed that most of his length was not actually his penis. This is a quote again. When the CT scan showed us, what the CT scan showed us was that there is a very large foreskin, said Muro. It goes just before the knee, but the penis itself is about 16 to 18 centimetres from the pubis. So the rest of the tissue found is just foreskin, blood vessels, and some inflammation of the skin. So this guy, this Roberto, has actually just got a massive foreskin, and his penis only ends, like a normal penis, and then he's got about 10 inches of foreskin on the end of it.
Yeah, I don't know if it was this guy, but I've read about someone else before with a really big dick, and as you do, and he was like intentionally scarring his foreskin and like stretching it out and basically just wrecking his foreskin, so scar tissue kept building up, and he'd been doing it for years, that his foreskin just got incredibly thick and long to the point where it was like Roberto's here, and sort of like boasting like he had a massive cock, but it was like, it's not usable, like you can't like, it must take like you might, when you start pissing, it probably takes like 10 seconds to come out. Like, it's like just going like a water slide.
That's a strange vibe, isn't it? Getting into that,
Well, so on that subject, Roberto then revealed that his stretched foreskin was in fact his own doing.
Oh,
so he then admitted. Yeah, so it might have been the same guy. He said, so he admitted that he'd been stretching his own penis with weights since he was a teenager, after becoming obsessed with penis length.
Yeah, I think this might have been him.
So that might have been him. That's pretty much it, but there's a little addition to the end of it. This guy called Jonah Falcon, he holds the world record for world's biggest penis. This guy was actually on
this is the legit guy.
This is the legit guy. He was on like what's the show with Holly Willoughby in the morning?
This morning, isn't it?
This morning, yeah. I'm sure he was on this morning. Obviously, it was blurred out, but he was on there talking about his massive knob.
Okay.
Wouldn't you love to? Like, like, oh, what are you up to today? Oh, I'm just talking to Holly Willoughby about my cock for 20 minutes. Like, oh,
that's
decent.
Classic, that program. Yeah. They love doing stuff like that. Oh, let's get something slightly titillating and rude, but not actually. Yeah.
So this guy, Jonah Falcon, the world record holder, has got like the little closing bit of the story. So he'd been telling people for years that this Roberto was a fake. He's just said, it's just bullshit. And this quote sums it up really. It's good. He says, "I think it's ridiculous and he seems kind of desperate. No matter how big he is, it's not going to change the fact that I'm 13.5 inches. So he's just throwing that in there. I love that.
Just, yeah. Is this guy English?
No, he's American.
Oh, okay.
His name's Jonah Falcon. I mean, I've never met an English person with a name like that, Jonah Falcon.
Yeah.
You've got to be American if you're called Jonah Falcon.
Yeah.
Jonah. Yeah, I love that.
While you were chatting, by the way, I did briefly have a quick look at something when I was looking to try and find this bloke that you were talking about. But the longest masturbation apparently was Masanobu Soto from Japan made his country proud by masturbating for 9 hours and 58 minutes. He beat the previous world record, which was also his, by 28 minutes. But I don't know what they're fucking quantifying that on. What, he just like flobbed his fucking flaccid penis repeatedly, like for 9
maybe you
hours.
have to keep it up. It's a rule.
Yeah, but this is a great
I'm sure
comment.
a lot of thought has gone into
I tried to see like what was the most, you know, is there a world record of masturbating in one day? And most people are like, well, it's hard to quantify, you know, what counts as an orgasm. How is it measured? And he's like, I'll make an education guess, but after about 30, there's absolutely no emissions for the average man. After about
30?
mate, you reckon he gets to 30? Yeah, after about 6, he just puffs of air.
Yeah.
But
Coughs.
he's right, and this other person's right. It's out of one's reach 83 times in 24 hours by a Thailand boy. I swear we spoke about this in the
Thailand
podcast
boy.
once. Yeah, I would recommend you not try this at home because one more guy has died in an attempt to overtake this record after ejaculating 42
I was going to
times.
say that. Yeah.
So don't follow the world record. I think we had a Curios cast, but we spoke about some guy dying from wanking too
Maybe
much.
that was
So,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say I've
Yeah.
definitely read or heard about the guy who wanked himself to death. Yeah.
But this is just a great comment by this guy. I don't know about record masturbating because you haven't specified to orgasm. The world record for female orgasms is a staggering 134 in an hour and was recorded at the Center for Marital and Sexual Studies in California. The same study found that the male world record was 16 in an hour. My own personal record is 16 orgasms in 9 hours. He's chucked it in. 16.
I love it. That's mad.
Yeah.
16. Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm never breaking that record.
No, fucking hell.
Never. After one, I'd be like, oh, fuck it, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, I remember when I was younger, this used to happen all the time. I'd be like, I'd start having a wank, and then I'd be like,
Why did you whisper? Why did you whisper?
I don't know, like podcast listeners. If you, it was like, get in my head. I'd be like, that's it. This is me for the day now. I'm gonna have 9. I'm gonna do it. Today's the day.
Yeah.
I'm well into this right now. This is me, fucking sorted. I'm gonna soon after this one, immediately after this one, I'm gonna crack on.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you had a wank, you're like, okay, that's that. I'm gonna go and fucking play PlayStation.
Not going to do that for another week.
Not gonna do that for another week. Apart from that one day you had.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Tom went mental. He lost his mind.
Yeah. I guess I'll have to say it now. But yeah, we're far enough in that it's not that embarrassing.
Yeah, no one's listening at this point.
Yeah, the scrapped episode, we went straight into it. But yeah, no, it was when I basically had a day off, and when I was about 15 or so, I was at school. Like I wasn't, this wasn't recent, or when I was like, I think I was like 14, 15. But yeah, I had a day off and I was bored and I had nothing to do, so I just thought I'm gonna wank all day. But I think I don't know how many I got in, probably like 5 or so, and was like, this is just out of hand, literally. And it got to a point where I was like, okay, I guess I better have another. And
did you set a timer or anything? Like, did you have like a little timer going off?
No, it was just kind of like,
off the cuff,
It was like, okay, done. I'll see how I feel in 20 minutes or so, and just kind of be like, when I feel ready, and then. Even if I didn't feel ready, you can usually make yourself a bit more ready, and and then it just got to the point where I was like, what am I doing? Like, this is even for a 14-year-old, this is like degenerate. Yeah.
Self-aware enough at that age, just like, nah, this is too much. Lad.
I was thinking, what am I going to think in 10 years' time? What am I going to look back and think about myself? It turns out it's not that bad. I thought it was quite funny.
Yeah, this will make some good content one day.
You're probably still replenishing your stores from that day.
Maybe he never recovered.
I had a mate that had 9.
9 in a day.
He reckoned he had 9 in one day. Yeah.
I believe him. Yeah, I said again. I said to you guys about my mate who like we came into school. And was like, "You're right, how's your weekend or how's your evening or whatever?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I had a wank for 3.5 hours yesterday." And he said it as if it was going to be really impressive, and we was going to be like, "Wow, tell us your secret." But it wasn't. It was, we was all like, "Man, you're fucked up. Like that's weird." Like,
yeah, I remember I said, yeah. It still makes me. I had a similar. I wish I could remember it was a similar story. Someone and a person said that to us as well. Like the lady had a really long wank. Again, also thinking it was going to be impressive. We were just like, nah, man. It was some. I swear, it was someone saying they like regularly do it. Nah, man. It always takes me like 2 hours. Always takes me like. It was like no, like no. Well, then you're fucking doing it wrong, mate. You haven't quite worked it out. That is not the idea. Like
it's not touching it. Just trying to use his mind. That's like what aliens do.
Hands free wank.
Hands free wanking.
Yeah. One of my other mates is quite into the idea of that hands free wanking. It is a category. Of, he's made us look it up before.
it must be possible because people have wet dreams, don't they?
Yeah, I always wonder
That's
about that.
true,
Are
yeah.
you really tugging one out in your sleep and you don't realise, or
Don't know.
is it just purely the power of the mind?
Yeah, I've never.
I think it just happens. So I've heard.
Oh, it does just happen though, and sometimes.
Yeah, so I don't think it's like actually you having a wank. I think it's just your body reaching
Normally, I'll be
orgasm
honest.
without any input.
I have had some wet dreams,
See,
and
I never have.
have you never done it? It's always been the bollocks. I'll be honest. Like it's like because you're always having like a fucking awesome dream. Like,
Yeah.
whatever's happening it's good
fucking
enough to make you fucking just come in your pants without
Like a
doing
little
anything.
treat, to wake up to, because you're literally waking up as you.
Oh no, but waking up is the
Oh,
shittest bit, and that's normally when you realise that
Yeah,
you wake up realising that you've done it, and you're like, oh fucking hell.
Yeah,
just jizzed everywhere.
Yeah, I've never had the pleasure of experiencing it, but one of my mates at school, one of my close friends, he did like once a week he would tell us like, oh yeah, that he had another one, and I remember we tried. This is another again like degenerate teenage boy thing, but me and 3 of my friends were like, let's see who can go the longest without having a wank. And we was all just, it was an honour system, like, you know, you can't.
Well, there's like internet forums for this now. No fap.
Yeah, and our goal was like to get like, I think we was gonna go for like 2 weeks or something like that, and he was like, well, what about wet dreams? And we were like, well, like we didn't know whether to allow it or not, because obviously he didn't do that intentionally, but also you have relieved now, and you can probably go longer. It went 2 days and he had one, and it was just like, I just and he was like, it weren't even like I was deepest. He's like, I literally fell asleep for about 5 minutes. And he was like, I was like having a nap. He was lucky I wasn't like down on a sofa or something, because I laid down and like sort of closed my eyes, and within 5 minutes I'd woke up and I made a mess.
I once fucking I had a wet dream asleep next to an ex-girlfriend once. That was fucking.
Was she your ex at the time?
No. Yeah, so one of my she was my girlfriend at the time.
Oh, okay.
And it's just sleeping over at hers, and I had a fucking wet dream. I remember waking up being like, shit, like
It's weird,
that's gonna be awkward. Like, it's super weird.
What about you, George?
No, not me, mate. You know, I've never. I think I've had like one when I was younger, but it's just horrible. I mean, it's all right at the time, but then like Rob says, when you wake up, it's just
But in theory, you could be hypnotised to just come.
Yeah.
In theory, by that reckoning, if you can do it with the power of your mind while you're asleep, someone could hypnotise you to just be like fucking.
Do you think that's like your brain? It's like, you know, it needs a bit of serotonin. It needs a bit of positive hormones or positive chemicals in his brain. You know, that's your brain.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a surefire way of getting something.
Yeah, maybe that's weird. Isn't it? Maybe your brain's like looking out for you.
Well, it is sort of like your brain kind of like was running through shit, isn't it, as well? And it's like working shit out. Like the same reason why you, I think it's like why you have like dreams where you're running away from shit and getting scared in your dreams. It's the practice. Yeah. Running away from bears and animals and stuff in real life. It's just to like get your mind kind of used to it. So yeah, maybe it's the same thing. It's just like and essentially to get your brain used to it is to build up your adrenaline and let your body understand how adrenaline feels and stuff. So yeah, similar thing. It's like, well, today we need some we need some jizz power. Yeah, let's.
It could be. I think the worst thing that's ever happened to me when I woke up. I was really ill once. I had like a really bad stomach bug, and I was having a little nap, and one of my sisters came up and to wake me up to see if I wanted to eat anything. So she opened the door and like made quite a loud noise, and I'd been sort of like half asleep. I was a bit like out of it, like fucked up, and she woke me up to ask me if I wanted anything to eat. And the shock of her waking me up meant I just shit myself. Like I just full on shit. Just shit my pants.
I did not expect that.
Yeah, just full on shit myself. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was so like really unwell for probably about 2 weeks. I obviously really bad.
Did you have diarrhea as well?
Yeah, like full on.
Oh, okay.
There wasn't like a big meaty poo that just came out straight away. Yeah, so it was horrendous. Yeah, just like full on, just fired out.
So that reminds me, George, is Rosie, who is my girlfriend. She of course listened to last episode and heard your story of the poo in the bath at your family's house, and she has a theory about what happened, how the poo got in there. So her theory is that someone was having a bath, and earlier on that day or that evening, and sometimes you might have a little risky fart, especially maybe if you're underwater. And that person may have farted and not realised, but a little bit of poo came out, a little flavour or something. And then, like, as they sort of like, and obviously it's floating around or whatever, it's gone a bit to the side or something like that. And as they've like adjusted in the bath, maybe to reach something or go to wash a bit of their body,
it's been beached.
The water is like has shifted, and you've got this escapee poo that's gone up on the ledge, and it's maybe like behind them or whatever, like up on the side, and not realise it's there. And you just get out, you just do your normal thing, dry yourself, and off you go. And then someone comes in later and poos there.
It's probably the most likely.
It is quite likely. That's
the most likely thing now.
Yeah.
I mean, that poo has that bath has got previous for poos. I mean, when I was really young, I mean, I'm probably going to get called out for this being weird, but when I was really young, my parents would just bath me and my sisters together. Like, I was like 1 or 2 or something like that.
No, but that's not weird.
But I remember me. One of my sisters is only about a year younger than me, and then my other sister is 3 or 4 years younger. So she was really quite young, and we was all like having a bath and just playing about or whatever. And then all of a sudden, this just massive log just like surfaces like a submarine. Like breaches the surface, and she's going to kill me if she is.
Like
but my younger sister,
propulsion, just
like my younger sister had just like done a shit in the bath, and like it's just this big submarine come flying out, and then was like,
I can imagine that. Well, like in missiles, films where you see a shipwreck or like a ship sinks or something, and then everything pops up out of the water, and
it's just like that.
And like
and like obviously we started freaking out and I had to jump out. I think we used to have weirdly cactuses on like a little shelf next to the bath, and like the cactuses got knocked in, so there was just like poo and cactuses in there.
I can imagine there's probably anyone that's had kids can probably tell you about shit in the bath. Don't they? I imagine it.
I think lots of kids have got that story.
I enjoyed hearing about it. None of this.
I think I'm gonna take Rosie's hypothesis to my parents when I next see them, and I'm going to interview them and say who took a bath that day, who farted, no matter if you think you've done a little poo, and we'll go from there.
Or it could be that they scooped it out, or no, maybe just they scooped it out and were like, shit, right, I'll throw that away in a minute. So put it up on the side for a bit, and then finish bathing, washed themselves off, emptied the bath, forgot to then get rid of it. And it's
I think like the crux of Rosie's theory is that everyone is so adamant it wasn't them, and so like honestly it wasn't me, because everyone genuinely believes that they didn't know that they'd pooed. So
so someone pooed in the bath, didn't even know they
thought they just farted, and it just slipped out like a little bubble. And
little pebble came
and then as they've moved about, it splashed back and just landed on that spot.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good theory.
If you've got any theories about how a poo ended up on my parents' bath, please email in curioscast@gmail.com. So I'll jump on to my next story.
Yeah, go.
I don't know
Yes,
if I've got any
please.
other embarrassing stories about me shitting myself. Well, I mean, I've shat myself quite often. But anyway, so next one is Ghost Hunter horrified that Poundland is selling Ouija boards for Halloween. So this was recent. This was just before Halloween this year. And this is a guy, paranormal investigator, who's outraged that someone could go into Poundland and buy a Ouija board. So Paul Masters, member of True Paranormal Events UK, said that he was gobsmacked that such an item was on the shelves, claiming they can release deadly demons if not handled by trained mediums. He says Ouija boards are most certainly not a toy and should not be available for kids to buy in pound shops for Halloween, never mind adults that are not trained in how to use them. It does not matter if they are plastic or wood. If the planchette, which is like the little thing that you use to go around the board on there, if the planchette spells the word Zeus, it is a demon trying to come through, and you should not even say the name, never mind continuing to communicate with it. I mean, I've never heard of that, like Zeus. Why would Zeus be...
I've never heard that.
Well, that's because we're not trained, George.
Yeah,
it's
it's
To be
true.
fair, we were joking
haven't
about
got
this,
the
but we did all say
qualifications.
last time, we was like, no, I wouldn't fucking do it. I don't think I'd do
I
it.
wouldn't do it. No, there's no way.
I might do it if it was like daytime and I wasn't in my house.
Yeah, I'll tell you what
But
we'll
you
do,
wouldn't
Rob.
do
We'll
it
do
like a haunted hotel.
Nah.
No, we'll do it at we'll do it at the studio next
Nah,
episode.
fuck that, because I just wouldn't want to go to the studio again.
And then you'll be looking through the glass.
Yeah.
You know, and then
Nah,
in
fuck
the
that.
darkness.
It's already
you see it.
creepy, yeah. If you go
Yeah.
down there, like, on your own to record, it's already creepy, because, like, it's obviously completely fucking silent in there.
Yeah.
And but there's sometimes you're in the other room, and if, you know, aware that there could be someone else on site, so it already plays tricks with your mind.
Yeah. It's horrible.
Nah, fuck that. I'm not doing that.
So
Don't believe in it, but believe in it enough that it freaks me the shit out.
Paul goes on, so he continues. All hell could break loose if the demon attached itself to anyone and follows them around. Nasty spirits can scratch and attack people and should not be messed with, as people could get seriously hurt. So I was utterly gobsmacked when I saw that Poundland was selling these Ouija boards, and I was profoundly shocked and just fuming, really. So
Is
it's
this in
just
the UK
fuming.
as well? Poundland, yeah, not dollar store.
No,
yeah.
it's in America, mate. Poundland.
Oh, stupid question.
Um,
They could be selling items that all weigh a pound.
That's good. So Poundland have replied. They said that the product was only available for over 18s, but Paul said that he did not see any age limit on the product.
No Poundland cashier is going to be, enforcing that rule.
Enforcing that.
Yeah.
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 It is pretty crazy, to be fair. Like, regardless of what you think, you'd have assumed that enough people would be pretty outraged by that. That it would be quite controversial of Poundland to do that. Like, surely, like,
Well, I guess even
your
if-
average Christian person who's just like in there would be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I sort of understand why obviously he's outraged from a purely ghost point of view. You know, he's saying that demons can come through and all that sort of stuff. If you don't believe in that, Ouija boards can just fuck people's minds up sometimes. Like, obviously, if someone thinks, if someone like believes in it, maybe they might have a mental illness. There's cases where using a Ouija board has led people to kill themselves because they think they're like cursed from a demon that's come through from the Ouija board, or their house is haunted now, and they might have schizophrenia or something else that might cause them to hallucinate things, but they believe that it's the fault of the Ouija board rather than needing like medical attention. So I can sort of understand it from
quite
that.
irresponsible, really. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mad. But I think Ouija boards originally were made as toys. Like, it's not like a long-standing...
I think you're right, to be fair. Yeah, I think maybe you're right. It's like an 80s toy, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it wasn't like a long-standing thing that mediums used. I think a Ouija board was produced by a company in like you say, the 70s or 80s or something. It must have been before, because it was in The Exorcist, right? And that was in the 70s, maybe.
Was that when it first became quite a scared
I feel
thing?
like I've even read something
maybe,
about like
a scared thing, you know what I mean?
that like Hasbro made it or like invented it or something like that.
I think it might be Hasbro. I think you're right, Tom. But yeah, I mean, I still wouldn't do one. I can't remember who. It might be someone I know. Like, I think it might even have been my aunt or something. Said that she did a Ouija board, and things happened and she got scared. But again, it might just be a
Everyone's got a story, isn't they? About
yeah.
I had people like apparently like girls. My sister went to all girls school, convent school. Like there were still nuns that taught there and shit. It was that kind of antiquated. Yeah, it was creepy on its own, isn't it? But there was apparently some girls there did a Ouija board, and that's some of the naughty girls, And then a few days after, or maybe the day after they did a Ouija board, the bus had a crash and a branch hit it and took like a fucking tin can, like peeled back a big layer of the top of the bus and narrowly avoided anyone getting hurt.
Some Final Destination shit there.
Yeah,
that is, isn't it? Yeah.
How are we getting on the Hasbro front, Tom?
Yeah, it looks like it is Hasbro. It says...
But didn't they make a version of it, though? Like, it was a traditional kind of item, and they brought out a license.
I briefly saw that it...
mass marketed it.
Yeah, I saw that like it originally... like, the first sign of it is from, like, the late 1800s. Yeah, 1890.
Okay.
But it does say here that Ouija is a trademark of Hasbro, but is often used generically to refer to any talking board. So I think maybe like talking boards were around, and then Ouija board is a trademark of Hasbro. So it's basically a toy, yeah.
Because I think it was Ouija board. From what I just read briefly, it was like saying that Ouija, when the first people made it, they asked it what it should be called, and it spelt out Ouija, and they said, "What does that mean?" And it said, "Good luck."
Good luck.
We and ja is
as in like good.
We is
luck,
yes
mate.
in French, and ja is yes in German, isn't it?
Yes.
Ouija.
Ah, yes, yeah.
But anyway, so that's it. That's effectively it. This guy's outraged because he's worried that demons are going to come through. Obviously, nothing bad has happened because this was just before Halloween, and I haven't heard of any mass demon infestations in the UK.
No more than normal.
No, that's true.
Yeah, no more than
unless there's been exorcists working
around the clock. Yeah, they're knackered.
Yeah, I should have bought shares in exorcism,
in holy water.
Yeah,
in holy
big
water.
Exercise.
Nice.
Yeah,
shares in Lourdes.
But no, that's a good one. I like that.
Good little easy one. Next one's a little bit more light-hearted. There's no suicide or mental illness or Ouija boards or ghosts. This is about this was recently discovered in an auction. The headline is, while the rest of Victorian Ireland starved, this wealthy Irishman brought his wife home an ivory dildo.
Nice.
This is from the Victorian times, so 1800s, and this is a dildo made of ivory. I'm just going to pop a picture in the chat so you two can see, and it will come up on the screen if you're watching.
When you just said this is from Victorian times, I thought that was a newspaper and you said from the 1800s, and I was like, wow, so even in the 1800s it was called, like, the newspaper was called the Victorian Times. Like, how did they know it was going to be called the Victorian Times?
Love it.
Yeah, but that's not the case.
What is this, George? This is
a big dildo made from ivory. So it's carved from an elephant's tusk from the late 1800s. So
what's the scale?
It doesn't say, because it looks massive,
up against someone's arm. It looks fucking gargantuan. Yeah, but it could be.
And the end looks like you can sort of take the end off and pop something in. Well, I don't know if you can keep stuff in there.
That's probably like a standard raffle ticket. You see that sort of ticket on it? Maybe that's like raffle ticket size. So
yeah.
It's pretty fucking big.
Yeah, big beefy.
It does look like you could attach it. It looks like an attachment on like Captain Hook's arm. like you could. That's one of his attachments.
Yeah.
Captain Hook is a dildo hand.
Cool. Yeah. So it's it was on the screen now as an advert. Oh, cool. It's up on the screen now. The dildo is on the market.
Yeah. So sex toy entrepreneur Shauna Scott has had her eye on a very special item for quite some time, an ivory dildo dating back to the 19th century. So Scott will be able to finally get her hands on the Victorian sex toy after she won it for $680 at an auction in Ireland. I don't know what that is in euros. Obviously, it's an American site, so they've put it over to dollars. I don't know if did you get more dollars for euros? I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, fuck knows.
Around 600 euros, let's say that. So the dildo is described as an antique carved ivory lady's companion. That's good. I like that. A lady's companion. In scarlet-lined leather upholstered carry box with inset beveled glass case panel. Auctioneers
I've got a
estimate.
glass case for it as well. Like,
Does it say?
you know,
Showing it off.
Yeah. Does it say how big it is? Because I'm struggling with like. There's nothing for scale here. Like that box could be.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. It looks huge.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it could also be. I can picture it tiny. I can adjust my vision.
yeah.
It doesn't say how big it is, unfortunately. But I mean, I'm going to say with that stamp, it's probably a good. Hang on. Yeah, it's good 9 inches. I don't know. It looks pretty big. I'd say it's above average length. Put it that way. So they auctioneers estimate that the dildo was carved from the tusk of an elephant sometime between 1899 and 1901 in China. So it is just on the brink of being Victorian. So experts believe that the pleasure toy was brought back by a wealthy Anglo-Irish man after a trip abroad as a gift to his wife. It's nice and thoughtful.
Why not? Yeah.
So the dildo is exciting for a number of reasons, apparently. Namely, the existence of the ivory-made dildo gives observers an intimate glimpse into what otherwise was a particularly grim time in Irish history. So it was at the time of the Irish famine. Obviously, a lot of people were quite poor, in Ireland, suffering. There was a lot of starvation going on, and a lot of Irish were obviously emigrating to the US and around Europe, to look for a better life. But then on the other end of the scale, people were rich enough to
This guy doshing it all out on dildos.
just going out
fucking
and
arsehole.
buying a massive,
How the 1%
massive
live.
dildo.
Yeah, yeah, Jesus.
So
Literally getting fucked by elephants.
I mean, at least that elephant lives on. He's been immortalised.
It is.
Got a big old
This-
helmet
this-
on the end of it as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It does. Does the woman plan to test it out?
It doesn't say that. I very much doubt it because I think she's bought it as an investment.
Okay.
So the sex toy first been auctioned off in April 2017. Once word got around, the auction house received more than 100 bids from over 40 different countries. The winning bid ultimately came from a private collector in the US who paid $3,500 for the 130-year-old dildo, bidding out a Los Angeles erotica museum. And then
I was going to say it's probably going to be some sort of erotic museum. I
yeah,
imagine.
but that suggests that it's been devalued because the second time it was put up for auction, when Scott, this woman's been successful, she's only paid $680 for it. So that
That's
museum,
a bargain.
they've lost money. It is a bargain. Unreal.
Yeah.
I don't know what the price of ivory is either. So if ivory's up in price because obviously people aren't allowed to hunt elephants, even though they still
You're not
do.
supposed to sell it though, right? It has to be so old. It has to be an antique. You can't just
Oh, really?
or something.
So you can't-
There's weird laws about it. I'm even surprised you're allowed to sell that. It must be if it's so old, you're allowed to sell it.
Yeah.
But there's other things. Yeah, you can't sell it because it perpetuates.
Hunting
Even if it's
of
already
elephants.
dead, it
Yeah.
perpetuates people trying to
Mhm.
makes it a desirable item. But it has to also be a historical antique or something to be able to sell it. Even.
So apparently there's scuff marks on the side, so it suggests that it's been heavily used.
Well worn, yeah.
Which is a bit weird.
Scuff marks, Jesus.
So the scuff marks were used to verify that it was the same one that had been sold back in 2017. But yeah, I don't know what sort of scuff marks you'd get on a dildo.
Yeah,
Another little
rough
quote
rough
by-
old growler that's been going into.
Yeah, I've never. I would like to point out I don't think any of us have ever had sex and come out of it with scuff marks.
Yeah.
No, thankfully not.
The auctioneer says it's not just a piece of erotica, it's a work of art and a fascinating piece of social history. And he says that the dildo adds a new element to the history of Ireland. I always get asked about how repressed we are in Ireland. I think we're much more liberal than we think we are. So this dildo is helping to reinvent global perception of Ireland as being repressed, and offers a little glimpse into the disparity of wealth in early 19th century, late 19th century Ireland. So fascinating. Great.
Wow, fucking
The history
you
cast.
rounded that off quite intelligently,
Good
George.
job, mate.
Welcome
Yeah,
to the history cast with George James.
yeah, that's rare for us.
Yeah,
That
but
is very
ultimately
fast.
it's
it
just,
was still talking about a dildo.
it's just a dildo. It's
Yeah.
just a
the
massive
big
dildo.
elephant tusk
That's all
dildo.
it
Yeah.
is. And that's it. That's all it is.
Fucking
Bargain. I'd
good
say.
work, George.
Got
Bargain.
to have a couple, but I'm only going to do one more. I think.
Save.
So- Save them. Well, they're not. I'm not really too.
Yeah, save them. Save them.
So there's one we can have. Right, I'm going to give you a choice, right, and you can choose.
Go on.
So number one
Classic.
is a sound engineer accidentally dosed with LSD whilst cleaning 1960s radio. Man tries to invade 82-year-old bodybuilder's home and immediately regrets it. If I can speak properly. And then the final one is doctors forced to invent a new tool when this 23-inch dildo got stuck in a man's rectum.
That one.
So this one's got it's got an X-ray, which unfortunately, well, I haven't got here. But let me just get it.
I can probably get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a picture of the picture is you can see someone's spine, classic X-ray, and then on the right-hand side of the spine, really fucking high up, probably like, almost touching your rib cage. There's a massive dildo in the X-ray.
Jesus Christ.
Let me know if you can't find it, Tom, and I'll send it over.
No, I've got it.
Yeah. So after trying a number of traditional methods, doctors decided instead to get creative. This was in Milan, and it was in a unidentified 31-year-old man's rectum.
Chuck it in the chat, Tom.
Yeah.
The unidentified 31-year-old man arrived at the emergency room after he was unable to remove the sex toy himself for the past 24 hours. So he had a 24-inch dildo up his arse for 24 hours. The man said that the toy had become increasingly accessible by hand and so required medical attention.
Increasingly inaccessible by hand, you mean?
So it was gradually slipping out of his grasp, effectively.
Yeah, inaccessible by hand. You said accessible by hand.
No, I said inaccessible.
Oh, okay, sorry.
We'll discuss that next week. We'll listen back and then we'll have a hoedown. Other than minor abdominal pain, the man reported no of discomfort, despite there being a nearly 2 foot long rigid plastic dildo lodged in his rectum for over a day. It's mad. An X-ray of the massive obstruction.
How the other half live?
Do you reckon he said, it was like one of those classic excuses. Oh no, yeah, I sort of just fell over, and like there was a guy that had a ketchup bottle up his arse or something. I remember reading this, and he said that he was carrying shopping and fell over, and the ketchup bottle went up his arse, and he said, "Yeah, that's how it happened."
That's great,
brilliant. So yeah,
that's
to
even
try and
more
get this...
embarrassing than just admitting that you wanted it up, yeah.
Yeah. It's lucky it wasn't one of those old glass ketchup bottles. Imagine that.
Oh fucking hell!
So they had to come up with a new tool. So they couldn't get in there to pull the dildo out. So they tried. Built this tool, which was like a little wire noose on top of a like a device that you remove polyps with.
Yeah, we've got the photo of that on the screen as well.
Picture, yeah.
Well, it's like a little like CGI image of it, but yeah.
Okay. So that's attach it to a pair of forceps. Sorry, and then they managed to get it out, but they were trying for quite a while to try and pull this dildo out of his arse. I think they were originally thinking they were going to have to operate, so actually, go in and cut him open and get it out. So they just lassoed the end of the dildo with a little wire attached to a pair of pliers or pair of tongs, and then pulled it out. And they have now submitted their efforts to like a case report, like a medical case report, as a valid technique for removing large foreign bodies from the colon. So they've done a little report, and the doctors state, we suggest this new technique as a valid option to remove large FBs, foreign bodies, from the colon and rectum.
Scientific breakthrough.
It's like they say, necessity is the mother of invention.
That's it. There you go. So researchers agree that the trend for retained rectal foreign bodies, which is the technical term for something being stuck up your ass and you can't get it out.
Yep.
They say that the trend is not only surprisingly common, but is also increasing. So it is very likely that this new invention is going to have to be, used more.
Yeah, we might all have to have it done one day.
You never know. So, little happy thing at the end. Despite the 23-inch ordeal the man suffered, he's ultimately responsible for an advancement in modern medicine. So we can only applaud that man.
Good luck to him. Yeah, well done.
For trying to breach the limits of human rectal.
Yeah, I knew what I was
capacity.
doing. I saw a gap in the market. They needed a bit of, they just needed a little push in the right direction.
Yeah. Well, that's
As did the dildo.
Cool.
you know what?
Nice.
Well,
Moral of the story is never put something up your ass where there's not a bit on the end that's bigger than your
that's
bum.
why you need the big balls on the bottom.
The
Yeah.
balls, yeah.
That's yeah.
Too smooth.
You think
Maybe
God
he's got the balls
didn't
in there.
put testicles at the bottom of a dildo for nothing? No, they're there for a reason.
That looks
A
like
safeguard,
some sort of
if you
ball
will.
in it.
Yeah. It did look like it had balls on the bottom. I think he shoved them up as well.
I'm sure I spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. The guy that stole a huge dildo from inside a shop.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
maybe this is
yeah.
that guy.
maybe. Yeah, this is a
I need to
follow-on
try
story.
and try and get rid of
Wow.
it. Where am I
Sequel.
going to put a massive dildo?
Yeah.
Did it have a
Brilliant.
name
Not
as
just a
well, that
place.
dildo, yeah.
Oh, it
They
did
called
have a
his
big,
hand,
yeah, the
didn't
name,
they?
yeah.
John the...
Yeah.
I said John the Baptist.
John Johnson. John the Baptist.
Just give it a really odd, just obscure name. It means nothing to do with it.
Cool. I like that. That's a good
That's
one.
it.
Good one to end on. Classic.
We've had a lot of dildos today.
Yeah. Fish, dildos. Fish
Fish
dildos.
Come,
Yeah.
wanking.
Yeah, it's a pretty classic Curios cast episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
bit of shitting.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
We know this is what you like, listeners.
You know, we're just delivering the goods.
Especially you, who are still listening nearly 2 hours in. You're,
Yeah.
we know you're filth.
Well, this is actually. Oh no, and I think I'm all right. I just got an error on GarageBand, but it looks like it's still recording. See, look, technical issues. I warned you, listener.
Oh,
All right, yeah, look, you're gonna ruin it now. So let's before you fuck it up, let's sign off.
yep.
Oh no, I really hope that my 2 hours 7. I think I'm all right. Yeah, we're fine. Don't worry.
Sweet.
I might not even be recording now, to be honest. So you might have to get it on your audio. In fact,
All right.
it's not recording.
Okay,
All right,
that's fine. Well, if you listen this
you
far,
can
you don't
record
care.
again. But yeah, go on, Tom. You can wrap it up and say.
Yeah, thanks everybody for listening. You know, all the usual stuff. Check out the YouTube. You know, if you skipped around or you want to listen to a particular part again, usually we upload them in different segments on the YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch your favourite bits over and over again. If you have any suggestions for episode themes or topics, then of course let us know. All the usual stuff. Curios Cast on all socials, and if you haven't done already, leave us a review, because apparently it helps out with numbers and stuff.
Yeah, but only good reviews. None of your
Absolutely.
bullshit 3 stars.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna
next episode's probably going to be a Christmas special. Maybe we might do a Christmas special.
Yes.
We'll see.
Perhaps with some old favourite people.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Don't promise.
We'll see what we can do.
because
No, I'll say we'll definitely
Yeah.
end up
You know
over-promising.
what he's like. We're going to have to
Yeah.
raise him from the dead.
That's why I didn't want to. Drop too many. We're going to try and get someone. Yeah.
Try and get him
Alright.
back.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Cool.
if you've got any suggestions for topics, let me know. I'm still waiting for a ghost story from one of you. I mean,
Oh yeah.
pull your fingers out.
I told a really shit version of Gina's ghost story as well, so I'm going to get her just to message it in the group chat to you, just so you can hear it, but we can talk about it maybe next time.
Ooh,
Alright.
yeah, spooky.
Yeah. I've ruined it, and it didn't actually end up. It's in the ether of the episode that never existed anyway, so we'll talk about it probably next time.
Okay. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Right. Well,
Alright.
thanks, guys.
See ya.
We'll catch you in the next episode.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye.